Everybody, and welcome to Ukraine Update here on the Shills. We've got some news to get through. We've got some topics to discuss. We got a good crew here, and we might have a couple more dropping in as well. So I hope you enjoy the show. Joining us today, as usual, we basically got the regulars in today. We got Secular Sakai. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, not bad.
Good. We got Greg Terry, fresh over from his stream and onto ours. How you doing?
Hey, brother, nice to see you, and thank you. And I just want to say that one of your key players there in net helped me immensely the last couple of days, and I need to give her a huge shout out. Dude, she's a freak of nature.
Oh, yeah, she knows what she's doing, man.
Are you kidding me? Holy moly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My secret weapon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dick. Thanks, Annette. And that's specifically in regard to my Q&A. It was like working with, she's just good. So thank you, Annette. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. And we got Jana in from Project Constantine. How's it going?
Hey, good. Thanks. Good.
Awesome.
Busy, but good.
Yeah. Busy, I can imagine. You guys have got a lot on your plate these days. Holy,
Yeah.
But that's good, right? Especially in your spot, And and we got Slavie in today as well. And Slavie has hit 500 subs, so it's starting to grow. Woo! It's starting to get there. Let's get over and sub. Let's get the link in the chat here. But how's it going?
Hey, it's going well, other than escalation management did not work. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Very, very true words. And we got Commander McMillian in, of course. How's it going, buddy?
Howdy.
Your bionics are healing and you're coming along good?
Slowly but slowly, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, he'll be a victim to his puppies again in no time.
Yeah.
So,
Dick,
well,
before you get going, I just have to say this. Over on my stream, I was just talking to some serious topics, and I know we will as well. But over there, Papa Dutch sends a super chat and waxes eloquent with Papa Dutch statements of wisdom. He comes over here and his super chat is, I'm the only problem with the Shills is I consume more alcohol here than an E85 strip racer. I go, well, I just left my channel and came to Dick's. There we go.
It's appropriate. It works well. And Starsky's on his way home. He should be joining us here pretty soon, so that'll be cool too. Where do y'all want to start? I mean, on the top of my head, it's the whole thing with North Korea and the Legion of Doom really kind of showing that they are, syncing up and working together, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I talked about that
So
on my stream a little. Oh, you go ahead, Greg.
No, I was just talking about it quite extensively there for the last hour, and a lot of guys jumped over here for my stream, and thank you for doing that. It is real. It is legit.
Yeah.
There are North Korean troops inside Ukraine. There are more than just missile units there.
Yeah.
We're looking at the potential of, and right now there are commandos in there. I personally feel, talking to my Ukrainian friends there, that it's almost like they're doing the test samples, and we are going to see, unless something drastically changes, we are see engineering units there, fully of brigades. We will see artillery systems there, and this makes Vladimir Putin very happy because he reinforces his army and his initiatives without, not that he values life, but without having to count cost at all. North Korea is a silent, dark, enigmatic regime, and the loss of life there will be completely unregistered globally. North Korea doesn't care.
No.
Russia doesn't care. And the world is basically blind, for the most part, to the inner workings of North Korea. And this is not only hearsay. Even today, I was reporting Budanov now talking about it and giving November 1st dates where they're expecting full rotations. North Koreans, we have video of them being trained with Russians. I had the video. I did not share it because I can't give the date, the location, but I can tell you North Koreans were training and being equipped with Russian gear. I could hear the Russian speakers. I could see the Russian soldiers. I could see the North Korean soldiers. I could see the Russian soldiers were in charge. They were responsible for the actions going on. It was all obvious, but I didn't show it because I didn't want somebody to go, where was that and when was that? I don't know, but the truth is it did happen and is happening. And this is an alliance that is now moving to the official status. It was a June 19th meeting where Putin and Kim Jong-un were, basically doing the Seinfeld cars and coffee, and they were riding around in Putin's limousines there, and then the gifts of the horses and all of this, and of course they're making negotiations, and of course we had the proof of North Korean missiles and North Korean artillery, but here's the big one that the world needs to pay attention to. Now we have a ratified document before the Duma that will officially recognize, and it will be approved, of course, and it may have already been approved, and we just haven't heard yet, but it will be approved. That gives mutual responsibilities between both nations to defend each other militarily. Yeah. So it is a big deal.
And let's put in a fact here. The South Korean intelligence service released pictures of Russian boats picking them up and stuff. But the thing I wanted to touch on that it ties in with this 100% and is also not good news is North Korea is known to have a massive military as it pertains to the bodies themselves. Whether or not they're well trained or experienced or not, there is a lot of bodies that could be used.
1.5 million basically active soldiers, up to 5.4 million reservists and paramilitary organizations. Conscription begins at the age of 17. Mandatory service of 5 to 12 years. It is nothing to be joked around with.
That's right.
Yeah. And also, I'd like to add real quick, I don't think it's coincidental that this is happening not so long after the operation in Kursk. Because remember that the whole point was to draw troops away from the front lines, and to defend Russia, basically defend Kursk. But this, along with them trying to mobilize militia units among civilians, pulling North Korean troops in kind of as a sample, like you were saying, Greg, it kind of points to this message, I think, that Moscow is putting out there saying, we're not going to let up on the East, and we will do anything we have to get other bodies wherever we need to. So the West really needs to find a way to respond to this that isn't tepid and
This is
Go
what
ahead.
we were talking about this on our 42 show and then into the after show. And now that the Legion of Doom is buddying up and working together, it's time for our unified groups, UN, NATO, and so on, to stop being a boys club and start looking at things more. You're not in our group right now, but we can't let their group be gaining traction and whatnot. I think it's time that enough of this. Sorry, you're not a nation state in our plan, but
Yeah.
I gotta say, NATO has been the most disappointing. And I mean, they were created for the reason to defend from Russia. The only country that's defending from Russia is Ukraine, all of Europe, freedom and democracy.
No, NATO is very busy posting content on YouTube about Polish and Romanian troop swap rations. Okay, that is what they're posting. Food. They're swapping food.
Like rations.
Rations. Sorry, and they were like doing that, and they posted it 10 days ago. I'm like, okay, cool. So North Koreans are in Ukraine, and NATO is like, watch our fun interactive content.
How do we feel about South Korea? It's kind of their, fight, getting boots on the ground. Is that a possibility?
Let me intervene for a second here.
The expert sitting right there to your right.
Yeah.
I was looking straight at him.
Having done planning sessions with the South Korean military. You have to understand the capital of Seoul, which is the biggest city in South Korea, is only like 25, 30 miles from the DMZ.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's that close. And US and Korean intelligence have verified that there are over 100,000 artillery pieces pointed at the city of Seoul. The South Koreans are not going to want to do anything to aggravate the Norks because they will start shelling the capital city, and the civilian casualties would be massive. And the Koreans take this very seriously. If you go to Korea and check into a hotel, in your hotel room, there will be a gas mask. There's a container with a gas mask in there.
That's not ominous.
Yeah, because the belief is that salvo is going to contain chemical weapons.
So they're in the same position as Ukraine was in beginning of full scale, basically.
Yeah. It's more similar to Ukraine. It also reminds me of if you guys remember earlier in 2022, early 2023 talks of Israel helping with air defense systems and other pieces of tech, other weapons and air defense systems to Ukraine. And then everything happened with Hamas and Hezbollah and even Tehran launching directly against them. It's like that, but on steroids.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Seoul is watching what's happening with the other actors on the international stage.
Oh, yeah. And I don't want to denigrate the South Korean government. They are very good, responsible members of the Free World Alliance and everything. But they have their own immediate concern on that peninsula. One has to remember, technically, they are still at war, North and South Korea. There was never a peace treaty signed. There's an armistice in effect, a temporary ceasefire.
Commander, I've got perhaps, maybe this would be a better question of another country people should be looking toward. What do we think of the expectation of Japan leaving their pacifist tendencies behind?
They're already making progress in that direction.
Well, do you think it'll be fast enough? Is my question.
Well, fast enough for what? That's my question to you.
Well,
To send troops to fight in Ukraine? No,
No,
it's
no,
not
no,
going
no,
to
no,
happen.
I'm sorry. I might be misunderstood. I mean, I'm looking at the big picture. Ukraine, the possibility of war in the Korean Peninsula, Taiwan. It's all ramping up and happening simultaneously, little by little.
Yeah.
We're seeing. So
Yeah, and it's not just there; it's globally, everywhere. All these tension hotspots are heating up, and in many cases, you can trace back and see that the Kremlin's fingers are doing activity to make those things heat up.
Yep.
So, in a lot of ways, one could look at this as, the lead up to global war.
Yeah.
And they're just making everything hot, and everybody's rearming.
Right.
It's not just NATO and the Europeans. The Japanese are significantly rearming. The Japanese have relaxed. They had a thing in their constitution that said you can't have multilateral alliances. You can't send troops to deploy overseas. They've relaxed those. There are already Japanese naval units operating in the Red Sea, Gulf of Yemen area against, protecting ships going through the Red Sea where the Houthis been shooting at ships. And they've been doing that for well over a decade.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense because they started out with their operations along the coast of Somalia, then it expanded a little from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and you have to understand that it's hard for them because they realize that if you get too militarized, they look back at their history, and while they won't acknowledge it officially,
Yeah.
they all know that there's a tendency in the Bushido code to overdo things.
Right.
Guys,
Oh,
my son's having an issue
Mhm.
upstairs with a piece of technology that's not working. So give me just a couple of minutes. Greg, you're running the
Lost
show till I
captain.
get back here.
Commander, I would say, no problem, Dick. Commander, I would say when you were in Sakai where they're talking, I went ahead and pulled up and read, it's only 2 pages long, the Mutual Defense Treaty between the U.S. and the Republic of Korea, dated October the 1st, 1953, which is still standing. And Article 3 of that states each party recognized that an armed attack in the Pacific area on either of the parties in territories now under their respective administrative control or hereafter recognize one of the parties as lawfully brought under the administrative control of the other would be dangerous to its own peace and safety, and declares that it would act to meet the common danger in accordance with the constitutional process. Then you can read the U.S. analysis on that treaty. But Article 3 states that if South Korea is attacked militarily or a United States, for example, military base, we're connected deeply with South Korea, et cetera, in Southeast Asia is attacked, both nations bear responsibility to support each other. Now, it goes into more detail on that, but the reality is that treaty is there. And I'm not sure the United States wants to mess with this.
No, they don't. And let me assure you, that treaty is one that we exercise very regularly in terms of, what if this happens? How are we going to react? There's annual exercises, multiple annual exercises that we conduct jointly with the South Koreans. So it's taken very seriously.
There's a question for you on a super chat, Commander. I'll grab it for Dick since he's not here. I'm reading the regular chat. If North Korea, they've blown bridges or blown some roads, but if they blew bridges north and south, does this mean they intend to just shut the door, or do they plan to destroy by long distance and block the response? Or are they just saber rattling? Are they playing a big game here with Vladimir Putin?
Okay, the first thing to understand is when they're blowing bridges, I assume you're talking about through the DMZ area.
Yes.
They can do that because there's only one crossing point across the DMZ, and that's at Pyeong. Oh hell, I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, but
the little village, the one that's halfway between.
Peace Village.
Yeah.
And that's the only authorized crossing point. So if they're doing that, it's a PR thing of, we're sending troops to help our friends in Russia, but We've got to make sure we've taken defensive measures to protect the homeland against the horrible, aggressive Americans and South Koreans.
It's sort of like declaration of war in a way.
It's not a declaration of war. It's a declaration of we're taking our decisions very seriously. This isn't something we did on the fly.
I personally feel, and I was talking about this on my stream prior to this one, it's obvious that all of this is connected. You know, if you throw in, and that's not just trying to fill time here to say that, but it's obvious that all of this is connected. I know my guys that are part of all of our guys get tired of me talking about Peter Pavel, but I'm going to talk about him because he was accurate. He stated 20 months ago that the fall of 2024 would determine not only for Ukraine where we'll end up, but many global events. It's like the man was seeing the writing on the wall, and we need to pay attention to him. You do realize that we're speaking, you know, we're all here with our Ukrainian colors and supporting Ukraine, and we're literally talking about the North Korean, South Korean border. Why? Because it's connected to Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's connected to the Middle East. It's connected to China. It's connected to Japan. Remember, it's Rocket Boy that likes to fly rockets over Japan, over the Sea of Japan. It's all connected. And at the side, right in the center of it, on the one side is Vladimir Putin, and he has been building and working these relationships for so many years in preparation for this. And this is the tragedy when we hear Donald Trump come up and make the statement. I played the video on my stream just to close out. My good friends, or let me be honest, my friends, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un. He makes no reference. How about Olaf Scholz, Macron, Vladimir Zelensky, the Pope, anybody. No, it's directly to Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un. Guys, there's a definite alliance there where these nations have in some common values to stand against the West. Ukraine, to this point, and I hate to say it, but in some ways is being a sacrificial lamb, as NATO is watching what Russia can do. The United States is watching, testing, sending some supply in, drip feeding them, learning, depleting them. Okay, how will North Korea and Russia come together? How now will Xi Jinping react to this? If you looked at the news over the last 24 hours, Xi Jinping raised the military alert level in China again and went on his dictator tour. So it is all connected, and our jobs, of course, first and foremost, we're here to stand for, support Ukraine and the fight for freedom and the fight for sovereignty and the battle against genocide. But at the same time, we cannot be ostriches and sticking our heads in the sand and not recognizing that all of these global events are coming together at a head to a head at a certain time, and that time is right here. The fall of 2024, the vitally important, not only for my country in the United States, but also globally, the election here in a few weeks in the United States. It's a
you almost get a sense that the whole world is holding its breath to see what's going to happen on the 6th.
I completely agree with that.
And I do want to bring us back to, I guess, Ukraine and everything that's happening on the ground here in a moment. But this comparison has been made more than once for a very specific reason. It reminds me a lot of the proxy, not direct, troops on the ground involvement, but the proxy war between like Mussolini's Italy and Hitler's Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union during the Spanish Civil War. It's a lot of no one being directly, well, except of course North Korea now, but nations not wanting to be directly involved in trying to find every other way that they can, to what degree they even want to assist. And we've all been saying it for damn near 3 years now, it's morally abhorrent. There should be a stronger reaction from the West because we're literally watching history repeat itself with this kind of vague hope that, well, maybe if we do it a certain way, if we don't escalate too much, we can find some way to avoid all-out war while destabilizing our enemies. It's like, someone grow a spine.
As much as people dislike it, I will say that we've at least learned something from history, because when that happened in World War II, the West's answer was the appeasement philosophy. And fortunately, we're not seeing that. We're at least seeing that the West is giving some monetary equipment, such support to Ukraine. If this was, 1939, 1940 with this situation, the West would be going, oh, how terrible, and not doing a damn thing.
Right.
So, yeah, people don't remember history very well. So periodically you have to pimp slap them a few times and say, hey, wake up.
Yeah.
Well, and those that don't pay attention are doomed to repeat it. Was that you, Slavie?
No, it was Jana.
Jana? Okay. Davai.
So I know there's the entire crazy stuff going on in the Sahel up in Africa as well, where that entire region is basically just it's complete chaos.
Oh, yeah.
But there is you can't even call it a civil war in Sudan going on. And I've heard that, on the one side you've got Wagner, or now Africa Corps, but there are also reports of Ukrainian special forces there fighting against Wagner. And I was having this conversation with my dad, and I was like, yeah, this is going, there are Ukrainians there. And he's like, that doesn't make any sense. They have their own war. I'm like, Dad, you don't get it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all part of the same damn war.
It's the same damn war.
Yeah. And certain wars are, it's all connected. Some are more connected to one another than other conflicts. But I mean, like you said, you've got military juntas fighting against ISIS proxies in the Sahel in Western Africa. You've got the situation in Sudan, and I mean, also I guess that could spread more even with South Sudan. You've got Ethiopia that no one's been talking about, and that's growing. I don't even know if that country's going to last with the borders that it has moving into the next decade or so. The way there's a lot happening all around the world. It's impossible to keep up with all of it. So what we need to do is we need to find the most important things that correspond to our nations and the peace that it has existed to a certain extent from the current international world order. We need to have strengthening of NATO, of the EU. I know there's going to be a referendum for Moldova, whether they're going to join the EU or not. That's going to be happening really soon. I think what is it next week? There's so many things happening, and really it's hard, but we have to try not to get lost in the white noise and focus on what's important. And for all of us here, that is support to Ukraine.
Absolutely. I think Russia spent about 100 million on Moldova on disinformation.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. And Republic of Georgia is no difference either, because they've got an election this month and very, very soon.
Yeah, very soon. But I think we need to go to the root cause of the problem, and it's Russia. It's the cancer.
Yeah.
We need to cut it out.
Definitely.
Well, and the problem with this cancer is it keeps morphing, evolving, metastasizing, and then it collapses, and then it comes back again. It comes back as an empire. It comes back as a communist totalitarian government. It comes back as a fascist totalitarian government. When the hell do we see something come from the ashes that doesn't ruin?
You had a czarist totalitarian government. You had the Bolsheviks. Then you had The common thread is totalitarian here. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yes, exactly.
And then you have on our side the Trumps and the Musks who think that's the perfect form of government for this country.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I've we're
I did a satisfactory job.
cool. Thank you. I had a strange moment where his power supply to his monitor is failing, and it's not very old, and that's not something that you can readily replicate normally. But I'm one of those computer nerdy guys that actually has a bench power supply, so I was able to set that up and keep them going. So I'm gonna have to order one right away.
I just
Should be
wanna
under warranty
say-
though.
Melissa and Keith gang, thank you for donating. They just donated. Thank you so much.
Yay!
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of donations, I have a bit of a list here that I should run through. So you guys can just take 2 minutes and I'll get us all caught up, shall we? Yeah. Oh, lovely. So Taste de la Kulahuna or Kulakuna. Hey, West, wake up and take this war seriously. Couldn't agree more. UTV and Ham, thanks all for making me feel here among friends. Well, that's definitely the idea. Awesome, UTV. Papa Dutch, the only problem with the Shills is that I consume more alcohol than an E85 strip racer. That's the one that Craig had to point out there. That was funny as hell. Johnny Nedregard. I know there's an accent in there, so I got that all crazy wrong. Way. 22 Swedish Corona there. Great panel today. Someone get Starsky, please. He could be on the show really soon. We're just waiting for him to get home. Thanks, Johnny. Dunk on you, 23, gifted out 5 Shills memberships. We've got Papa Dutch in with a super chat. Trump is seriously missing out. Slavie makes Melania look like the girl next door. Good
I'll
joke,
take
buddy.
it as a compliment. Thank
Very
you.
much. Bethra Olsen with Swedish Kroner, 129 of them there with love to Ukraine. That's the no smoking to support Ukraine super chat that comes in on every show. And see, I'm not claiming to have done anything. No, I'm not that strong-willed at the moment. Johnny Nedregard there came in and gifted out a Shills memberships as well. Papa Dutch with a $10 super chat. Commander McMillian, if the North Koreans blew the bridges between North and South, does this mean they intend to just shut the door, or do they plan to destroy by long distance and block the response?
This one commander answered, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we
He
kind
answered
of
it when I was guest hosting. I was Johnny Fever on WKRP in Cincinnati.
No, that's funny.
Greg was the man.
Awesome. Okay, so then we had Papa Dutch again with a $5 super chat. Non-intervention is in itself an intervention, just as failure to make a decision is a decision itself. I agree. I totally agree. And then Papa Dutch again with another one. Oh, Lord, thunder and Jesus, Papa Dutch is on fire. One of the problems with the Russian problem is that radiation therapy is out of the question.
Someone should tell that to all of those orc troops who were forced to be stationed in Chernobyl when they were.
But then
Oh,
we had
my
Yvonne
goodness.
Way with the message as well that came in there. Slavie Ukraine, Heroyam Slava. That was a great one. And we got a couple of direct ones in as well. Let me see if I can do this without screwing up. Sorry, everybody. 1 second here. We had a $20 direct donation in here. Oh, from Dunk on You 23 from that Ko-Fi service. North Korea sucks. Slava Ukraine. Damn right they do. Thank you there, Dunk on You 23. And then we've got UTV and Ham in the chat there for the priority that is of the day or seems fitting. Slava Ukraine from UTV. That was $20 direct donation. And then we have YOLO Swaggins in the chat there, a $45 direct donation. Slavie Ukraine from YOLO. Woohoo! Thank you, YOLO. And I've got to check because I think, Jonesy came in with a $10 direct donation to the Boom Boom Fund as well. Thank you, Jonesy. And today's Boom Boom Fund is the hashtag Not Pierogi Fund. Slavie will pronounce the.
Vareniki.
I just screw it up. I'm not.
Break it down in syllables for him.
Practice makes perfect. Vareniki.
Vareniki.
There you go.
Did
Much
I get it?
better than last time. Last
Vareniki?
time was
Okay, so hashtag Not Pierogi Fund.
Coward.
Yeah. Hey, just like Clint Eastwood said, a man's got to know his limitations.
leave the pierogies to the Poles.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But they're so good over there too. And I just want to double check that I didn't miss anybody. I think I've covered it, but I'm feeling like I'm missing something here. When was this? Okay. So there's also a $20 payment in through from somebody, but I know I'm doxing them if I say that name. So if you threw a $20 direct donation in and you didn't get your shout out, it's because you didn't put your YouTube name in, and I don't want to screw you up. So take credit in the live chat and I'll call you out. But I think we're caught up. No, we're not. Johnny Nedregard there, Norwegian kroners. Love being called a Swede with a big grinning face. Norwegian, though. Well, I'm hoping, NOK. I figured I knew what that meant at least. And Mr. Nobody's gifting out 5 Shills memberships. Woohoo! Thank you, Mr. Nobody. So, okay, we're caught up. Has anybody mentioned while I was gone the U.S. reward of up to 10 million for information on Russian propagandists?
You read my mind. I was just about to bring that up.
Perfect timing.
I've got an article pulled up right here, and it says the United States has announced a reward of up to $10 million for information about the Russian Rybar project. The information was published on the website of the Rewards for Justice program of the U.S. Department of State. And according to U.S. authorities, the Russian project tried to interfere in the U.S. presidential election, and they were receiving finances from a sanctioned entity within Russia itself. So, yeah.
By the way, I gotta give it up to Canada for Jordan Peterson. Well done. Well done.
I was like, yeah, that felt good.
For once, Trudeau did something right.
Yeah, he's done a couple, but the press will never let you know of it because, wow, they seem to hate him these days. But that's the thing about being a politician. You win, and then you lose for 4 years as everybody slowly turns on you, right?
Mm.
Yep.
That's so depressing.
It's funny because whenever I think of Jordan Peterson, it's always not even related to Ukraine. It's within religious versus non-religious, conversation circles. So it's funny. I haven't heard that name in a minute.
Well, it's funny that you say that. Every time I think of Jordan Peterson, I want to say the Peterson, Ukrainians and Russian. You'll get it. And his awful fashion choices.
Yeah.
I actually want the menswear fashion guy on Twitter to roast.
But the Peterson makes sense if you look at his fashion choices.
Oh.
You see what I did there?
Yeah.
Yep.
We've got a shout from Paul Gilbert in the chat there. $15 direct donation to be used as needed. Hashtag Not Pierogi Fund.
Yeah, there's actually I know Biden, Olaf, I'm sorry, I know it's a German name, but all I think about is a snowman, okay? Olaf and I don't remember who else. They met up.
Olaf, like from
Like-
Frozen?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah. I just keep thinking of Olaf from Frozen, but I know it's Olaf Scholz. That's actually the German guy. But they were all like, they're having a meeting to discuss Russia and Ukraine and everything. And I'm like, yeah, if only, like, they didn't invite Poland to the party. And I'm like, you'd think that you would invite your eastern flank of NATO to your conversation.
Yeah.
And
You're heavily
So-
remilitarizing eastern flank.
Yeah.
That yeah.
Yeah.
I think the difference between two Olafs, the snowman has balls.
Oh, oh,
Oh. That,
Slam.
very brutal.
that burn melts everything away.
That was
Oh,
funny.
Lord.
Okay.
All right. What else have we got?
Yeah.
Also, I made notes. I have 3 things on my notes. I've covered 1 thing.
Okay. No, go ahead.
I'm organized. The Lithuanian foreign minister actually, he said he was talking about the Russian acts of sabotage that's going on around the world, where they're setting things on fire and attacking people and everything. And he said that the reason it keeps being called a hybrid war instead of what it actually is, terrorism, is that the moment it's being called terrorism, you actually need to do something about it.
Yep.
If you just call it a hybrid war, you can be like, no, but this is all related to Ukraine. It's not our issue.
Right.
But if you realize it for what it is and you call it by what it is, then it is terrorism and you would have to do something about it. So Lithuania has just been like kind of appreciation for the Baltic countries in general, because they're just like, we've dealt with Russian colonialism before. You're all stupid.
Oh yeah.
They don't.
No.
I've seen that video, and the guy, I can't say his name, but
Welcome to my world.
he says all the right things. He's young too. I think he's going to be quite a powerful leader. Good for him. He's
The Baltic states have a very vested interest in making sure everybody understands what's going on, because
Yeah.
once Ukraine is settled, if Russia isn't broken, they're probably the next fish on the chopping block.
Makes total
well-
sense, doesn't it?
Well,
It seems
I
not only like Russia's neighbors are the only countries that understand what it's like living to
Right.
Russia. They understand
Exactly.
the dangers, that they will keep going further unless they're stopped.
I'll add on to what Commander said, though. I think that the Baltics are very aware that they are very close to the front on what would, who would be the next target. I do think that Republic of Georgia would be the first before that, but then immediately after, just looking at a map, I mean, to get to Moldova, you have to go through Ukraine, and obviously Russia has not been able to do that. Getting through to the west of Ukraine did not work out, thankfully. So the only places left that would be right there on the border would be the Baltics. And the fact that Finland and Sweden are now in the alliance, officially in NATO, and they don't have militaries you should scoff at. They're competent.
The Swedes in particular have a big military.
Oh yeah, exactly. I keep hoping. Well, okay. Obviously, I'm not Estonian, Latvian, or Lithuanian. So I can't. I can't speak for any person from those nations. I wouldn't dream to propose that I would, but I really do hope that we see more of the breaking of taboos from some of the Baltic nations to really stir up the rest of the West and make it clear, hey, we're going to do this thing, even though we've got less resources compared to the rest of you, whether it's sending direct aid or sending troops on the ground, whatever it might be.
Right.
Join us. Do it, because North Korea is doing it. we can't appear weak. We can't just ignore this problem and hope it goes away.
They've been doing it. They've been. I gotta give it to them. They're small countries, but they're really, because they know what the dangers of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and
I
even
can't
the guy that
remember-
can't pronounce, like he's very good, and
Mhm.
he's just hitting all the right points.
And
Problem
Estonia's
is, even in NATO
Estonia's
alliance,
one.
they're very
Mm.
small. They don't have that much power, that much say. Sorry, go ahead, Jana.
Yeah, no, I was saying Estonia's has that one minister as well, Mikael. Greg, I think you met him. Yeah, I don't remember his exact name, but he's also very active and outspoken about this. And I know Estonia's ambassador to Ukraine has actually gone to the front, like on delivery trips around the front in Ukraine. So they really understand it, and they've committed a lot.
I started.
What needs to happen is Europe, the biggest European economies, need to start doing shit.
Yeah.
Your Schultzes, snowballs, your Macrons, macaroons, they gotta start moving.
Well,
All right, let me just tell you straight out the truth now. You ready?
Mhm.
I've been working in Tallinn since 01. I know the Baltics like the back of my hand, especially Estonia. Narva on the due eastern side is a Russian city. It is Estonian government, but it is a Russian city. It is the gateway to St. Petersburg. It is the gateway to the Black Sea. I mean, to the Baltic.
Right.
It is tiny. If Estonia was supported like Ukraine is supported, Russia would wipe them off the planet in one day.
Mhm.
It is tiny, guys. It is tiny.
Mm.
This is why they are so bold and so outspoken and giving so much funding of their GDP and their defense budgets to Ukraine, because they know, and that is not disrespectful to Estonians at all. The bottom line is they're tiny.
Yeah.
You can drive through Estonia in a New York minute. And outside of Tallinn, you come to other significant cities. Narva, it's a Russian city. Look it on the map. It's right on the Russian border. And then you come down to towns like Pärnu, P-A-R-N-U, Pärnu. That's how it's pronounced. It's just a beautiful, peaceful country of wonderful people that want to make their own way in life. They have their own traditions, their own customs. They are so kind, but they're tiny.
Mm.
Yeah. I know,
Tiny.
Yeah.
No, and you bring up a very good point with that, Greg, because also imagine if there were an all-out war and let's say NATO takes the gloves off and says, okay, well, we're not messing around anymore. Even if it didn't go nuclear, even if it were just conventional warfare, the entire population of any of the Baltics would be decimated unless there was an emergency evacuation plan. And it was primarily pretty much the entirety of those countries becoming a battlefield. It's a horrible reality, and that's why I think there's such staunch support and trying to let people know this is what Russia is. You can't ignore this problem because you know, the Russian government, the Russian military, appeasement doesn't work, ignoring them doesn't work. All you can do is you have to stand up, you have to fight back, you have to find ways to destabilize, but you can't be so afraid of escalation that you think that backing down is ever the answer.
Yeah.
Hey, Dick, you have an Estonian in your chat, INS100. All thanks, Greg. I'm from Estonia. So if I was telling you guys something that's inaccurate, INS100 would be going, Greg, you're an idiot. I'm not. Okay. I'm not. I'm telling
Well,
you guys.
he might be, but he's just nice enough not to do it publicly.
No, I'm telling you the truth. Estonians are wonderful.
Yeah.
And to INS, I would say Tanu, Tanu, Tanu. And I'm saying thank you in Estonian. But just
sounded like Mork from Ork there for a second.
Well, Tanu, yeah, Nanu, Tanu. But the reality is, with all due respect, if I gave if Estonia was treated the way Ukraine is being treated, with being drip fed, with being no real guaranteed constant support. It would be very challenging for them.
Yes.
It's just small, man.
Yeah.
It's just small nation.
And I'm Canadian. So when you see like, landmass of Estonia versus Canada, small, I don't even think is the proper way to put it, right? It's tiny, but that doesn't affect the people or anything.
But I will say this. For me, Estonia specifically has been the bulldog of this war.
Mm.
And they have been vicious, and that is complimentary in their nonstop support of Ukraine, screaming from the mountaintops, you guys and the rest of the world do not understand. It's like when Zelensky comes on American media. He was on Fox News, and he made direct statements saying, you guys think you know Putin, but Americans, you do not know Putin. Trump doesn't know Putin. Americans, we as Ukrainians, we know Putin. We understand Putin. We understand that machine. So let us do the fighting. We know how to fight them. Just help us do that. That's what Estonia has been screaming from the beginning.
Well,
you don't understand.
Here's a pertinent question to this right now. Do Poland have a defense agreement with Estonia? That's from Harold 22774 there in the chat.
The Baltic states are all members of NATO, and there are non-Baltic state combat formations from other NATO countries stationed in the Baltic countries.
Okay.
So it's a tripwire situation. If those countries get invaded, you're automatically at war with all of NATO, and it's not just to invoke Article 5. It's German or Dutch or American or whatever troops are also going to be killed during that invasion.
Mm.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would say, and Commander's exactly right. The other thing that I would say in regard to Estonia, and they've become a topic, and rightfully so today. Not only is it beautiful and they're bulldogs, and that's very complimentary, meaning they've bulldog bred there with its nose slanted backwards so it can latch onto its prey and not even have to let go to breathe. That's why they're bred with that nose back. And that's Estonia. They're latched onto this, trying to get the truth out to the world, do everything they can do to support Ukraine and educate the world. They don't even let go to breathe, man. They just keep the hammer down.
Yeah.
But even though they're small, man, they are important. That port in Tallinn is vitally important. You are an 18-minute flight from Tallinn Airport to Helsinki, Finland. It's 18 minutes across the Baltic Sea. You can take a fast ferry, a fast boat, 2 to 3 hours. You're across into Helsinki. You can take it's like 2 to 3 to 4 hours depending on the seas. And then you can take the night ferry and go across, or you can leave Tallinn and go the night ferry and go over to Sweden or Norway. It is so important, and guys, it's so close to Russia.
Can I also point out how cool the name Estonia is? Doesn't that sound like it's right from a freaking fantasy fiction novel?
Okay.
I thought that was like Estonia sounds like stone, and you're like, I want some weed.
We are talking dick here.
I was going to say, if you guys have never seen the Estonian countryside, it quite literally has a lot of stones. It's very beautiful. And
have you been there, Sakai?
It's been a long time.
Okay, so let me make you happy, Dick. Let me make you happy, Dick. You ready? You go into Estonia, and you go into the old town, and you can get up into the Middle Ages stone walls of the city.
Oh, yeah.
And you can sit in the location where the archers would sling their arrows out the narrow windows. And dude, you feel like stinking Robin Hood. It's like you feel like a superhero when you're walking around the walls of Old Town Tallinn.
Great place to burn one,
bro. Well, I'm going to my son's football game because I wanted Dick to go shoot arrows with me, and all he wants to do is smoke weed in Tallinn. So there we go.
You're turning Talon into Amsterdam, Dick.
Wham bam, Amsterdam. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Well,
But let me use that to sign off because Dick, you pushed me out. I'm already a couple minutes late. My crew is over there looking at me. My son has a kickoff, and Dad has to be a good dad.
All right.
Play football. But thank you. And listen, a great topic here on Estonia because I really think that all of these places are towns and nations. They're just going to become much more important. The more we see alliances in the East between Russia and, I mean, open, guys, open. Now, I'm reading some news right now, and Krivoy Rih just hit with ballistic missiles. Zaporizhia was just hit with glide bombs at the epicenter right outside the center. That is the epicenter. It didn't hit the building. It hit right beside it, 4 wounded, but that is the actual epicenter where Jana and I buy supplies right off the center. I know exactly where it's at. It's terrible. As that is raining down, and we know Israel's going after Iran. We know that Hamas leader was just taken out. We know that Netanyahu's home was hit with a drone. We see North Korea doing their thing with South Korea. We see China raising the alert status. We see Iran doing their thing. Guys, we're really close to a big mess. And the best thing we can do is support truth and justice and stand for what's right. So I thank all of you guys for doing that. We all do it our way, but together, I believe we're a strong force, and we just need to stand strong because it's a different world. And for the next 3 weeks, I think at least unless something crazy happens from our side, it's going to kind of be on cruise control. I don't know Commander's opinion on that, but I just don't see much happening until the election's over.
Yeah.
Major way.
Yeah.
Let me throw one last question at you before you run.
Yeah.
When do you think we're going to see Iranian troops on the front lines in Ukraine?
90 days.
Dick Dawson said 90 days. My answer to that would be this. It depends on what happens
In November.
You read my mind. It depends on what happens in the United States election. And I know some of you guys out there may be going, okay, man, all y'all do is talk about how important that election is. It is. And secondly,
it's the only reason my Canadian ass gives a rat's ass is because it's so important to the Ukrainian situation. I don't care about, who actually runs America much.
Plus, you want to keep Talon free so you can go smoke weed in the wall. I know it, Dick. Yeah. Everything's cool. But listen, honestly, Commander, I have a lot of friends in Israel, as you would imagine, and I talk to those guys nonstop. And they're not only Israeli. I have Palestinian friends in the West Bank. I mean, these are friends, and they're very concerned that we're going to see significant escalation in this war, and that would then be a game changer for Iranian forces, where and when and how they would move and react and be active, whether it's in Middle East or in Ukraine. The other mystery on the wall is the nation that's right in the middle of all this, and that is Turkey. So we shall see how Turkey starts pushing and which way they're pushing, and that's going to determine a lot of things as well. So a lot happening, but for the next 3 weeks, contact your if you're an American, contact your politicians or write letters.
Amen.
Share, tell truth. And that's all we can do. We all do our part and stand for what's right. So thank you, Jana. Thank you, Slavie. Thank you, Sakai. Thank you, Commander. Thank you, Dick.
Thanks for being here with us again, buddy. The stream is not the same without you. Take care, pal. Have fun at the game.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that. Have a good night, guys.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
My internet dropped for a sec. Am I back on?
Yeah, you're good now. I think my service just had an issue with Jana's feed there. We'll see.
Did everybody go down? I thought it was just me.
No, but I mean, I can see that she's here. She's just not in her little hexagon anymore. I don't understand what it is. I'll figure it out in the background. We'll figure it out. No problem.
Okay. Well,
I know she's here. I can see her. Hi.
Well, I was just coming back. Hi, Jana.
Yeah.
Well, I also just came back so I could sign off properly. I got to go take care of a few things, but good to see everybody. And oh man, this month is hell for me every weekend, but I'll hope to see you guys again next week.
All right, buddy.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
Cool,
Bye.
man. Take it easy, bud. All right. Let's see here. So if I go like that, does Jana come back? No. You're
Oh yeah, I don't see her.
Yeah.
I mean, I see her, but
yeah. I
yeah,
know.
but
I
on
don't.
the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah.
The people don't see you, Jana.
Yeah. But now you guys can hear her though, right? You guys hear Jana when she talks? Say something, Jana. No, they can't even hear you. You're really not coming through. Hold on. Yeah, you might have to because there's something not right and I can't seem to fix it. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I don't know what happened there. I
Yeah,
think
I can ask Commander a quick question. While is that okay?
yeah.
What do you think about Eastern Europe making an alliance, like, because screw NATO, but something like an intermarium alliance?
Am I back?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Now you're good. I can see that you're on the air as well. Okay, now we're fixed. Okay.
So let me respond to Slavie's question. The idea of some sort of Eastern European alliance, not superseding, but in addition to the NATO alliance, I think is probably a good idea. It does, however, create some nervousness in the rest of NATO because if you get, say, Poland deciding to get frisky with the Russians, that drags everybody in because of the NATO relationship. So it has to, whatever the terms of said treaty are, would have to be carefully drafted to assuage the worries of Western Europe, if that makes sense.
I feel
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Western Europe needs to understand that it wouldn't be Poland getting, like, it's kind of like, the thing is like, okay, don't react, you're gonna piss off the Russians. You know, that's kind of this entire escalation management thing is not working.
It failed completely.
Yeah. And you know, having so it's kind of like we've tried it and we've determined that it's not working. And it's crazy then to think that there's a country, a nuclear armed country, that has made world nuclear war a daily part of its foreign policy, basically. With anyone they don't like, they're just like, yeah, we'll just nuke you. I mean, I'm in South Africa. People telling me on the streets when I protest, they're like, no, but we can't. Russia will nuke us. I'm like, dude, no.
Yeah.
So there's almost this thing of like, I almost feel like some countries have more faith in Russia's nuclear power than Russians themselves have in it. You know?
Well, there was a comment, Jana, I saw on a news feed recently when I was doing some looking into what PJ CNET, our news director, had said for our 42 show. And one of the articles that I was reading through was, what is the upkeep and maintenance on Russia's supposedly amazingly nuclear arsenal, and how much of it is actually even usable at this point?
I heard it's rusty.
Right?
Nuclear weapons require.
I mean, I know it only takes a
of
couple
maintenance.
to hit, and boom, it's really bad. But Commander, yes, please inform us on this, and then I got a question for you as well.
Yeah,
Hopefully
sure.
they misfire.
Yeah, I mean, nuclear weapons require a lot of maintenance to keep in proper shape. And we know that prior to the war, the Russians were really good at finding ways of taking money and resources that had been allocated for, let's say, training ammunition and turning it into a new dacha for the brigade commander and things like that. So I think it's not unreasonable to assume that money allocated for maintaining nuclear weapons was similarly apportioned to other non-critical functions.
Yeah.
But there's still the risk that some of them are going to work.
It only takes a couple, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're talking thermonuclear weapons where you drop one on the city and
New York's gone.
Yeah, and a couple million casualties or more, and lots of long-term side effects as well.
Yeah.
So you can't play loosey-goosey with those kind of things.
Yeah. Now, there was a question for you, Commander, and then we're going to do some super chat and donation shout-outs and stuff. So this was from Sarah in the live chat. Commander, can you comment on the statement that NATO asks Romania to shoot down Russian drones that cross into its space?
Sure. And I think they've done the same, or at least Poland has made a statement to the same effect, that when Russian drones cross their borders, they intend to shoot down said drones or missiles. I think in most cases, it's because those weapons, which were intended for Ukrainian targets, have malfunctioned and they're going, flying blind, so to speak, into other countries. So it's safer for those countries, Romania, Poland, whoever, to shoot them down so that they don't accidentally land on somebody's house somewhere.
Right. Makes total sense.
It's not a case of those weapons flying through Romanian airspace to then turn, 90 degrees to attack targets inside Ukraine. That's not what's really going on.
Yeah. Okay.
But there was that incident, I think a few months ago, where there was a Russian drone or rocket that kind of went through Polish airspace, and they didn't shoot it down because they said, we could determine from trajectory that the target was a Ukrainian city. I'm like, what's next? Are you just going to station Russian tanks on the border between Poland and Ukraine and invade Ukraine from that side?
Right.
Yeah. It's this situation is very complex and very fraught with danger for all sides. So everybody's at the top levels in the NATO structure are very worried about things getting out of control. It's akin in some ways to the situation that happened during the Cuban Missile Crisis, where commanding officers of ships could accidentally overreact and still carrying out the intent and letter of the orders they had been given and precipitate nuclear war. So everybody was terrified of something like that happening.
Yeah.
So all the controls are in place right now to prevent that same kind of thing happening here.
Let me run down some super chat shout outs and so on, and then we will swing around into wherever we go next here. So we got Apatox in with a super chat shout out there, a couple bucks, and it's the appropriate blue and yellow hearts. It's too bad I can't get my little thing to do blue and yellow hearts. Wouldn't that be awesome? Then we got Papa Dutch in with a $5 super chat. In California, when it snows in the mountains, sometimes local artists make anatomically correct snowmen and women. I remember doing that for sure. As a Canadian, we get enough snow, right? We got Yvonne Way in with a super sticker. She's queen of the super sticker around here, if you didn't know. And it's the little pear-looking dude with the big thumbs up. See if my little thing can do it. There we go. We got Darren Vaughn in with a super chat. Since we were waiting for Starsky, can you get Dunk in for baby Starsky? It'd be funny when he shows up. Dunk can't be around today, but I'll give you this one, Darren. I so hope you still have your lunch, fellow babies. We got Papa Dutch in with a super chat here. I can't make stuff like that up. That was a little bit delayed. I know it was 2, and it was awesome. We got Kobe Jack gifting out 5 Shills memberships. There we go. We've got Von Way in with the little fox dude doing a super cool super sticker thing. It almost looks like he's opening up for the dentist, but I believe there's more to that story. We'll get back to you. We got Camilla Madison with is that SEK? That's not Swedish kroner, is it? Is it? I'm not sure. I think they will try to take Gotland. Oh, okay. That's in reference to that chat, and that's probably a good shout. We got Papa Dutch there. If you missed the rural post office, you'll drive through the town without seeing it. That made sense to that chat. They're just not good. Threw in a super chat. Arthur Ray should be here also. Oh, that's a good call. And maybe we'll invite soon for a little chat. Papa Dutch again in. Dick, put down the bong. I will not put down the bong. But, it's a good mention. Thank you for that. We got Jay in with a $10 super chat. Hey, folks, great stream. We can't let up. Time to pester congressmen and senators with some emails. Those are some damn good words, Jay. Absolutely. Local, regional, and national levels of government must be pestered. Listen to Jay. We got Papa Dutch in with a $2 super chat. Who says Iran isn't in Ukraine already? There's a conversation to be had there. We got our own super chat Matt in. If you like and love and support Ukraine and just got into the stream, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Slavie Ukraini. Heroyam Slava. Great shout, Matt. Thank you, buddy. Papa Dutch in with a super chat here. It only takes one, but not if the first one prematurely wipes out the source. That I should have got in time as well. Sometimes some of these super chats have to be read in the moment. I think
that
I'm going to need
with regards to nukes.
Yes, exactly. And I think some of the every now and then we're going to need like a special alert. You got to read this super chat now. I can't wait till later. But and our hashtag not pierogi fund is looking good too. Direct donation links are at the top of the live chat there. You can help us support directly. It's through a family from Ukraine that have a local bakery deli place in my town. That's what we're doing today. And so yeah, where do we go next here? I do have a couple of more questions, and I wanted to get to a couple of them because there's some pretty good stuff here. There was a question from Kellen Dunn in the chat for Commander and the panel. There is legal precedence for Ukraine to join NATO now. If you look at West Germany joining in 1955 with having the East occupied, East Germany was not recognized till 1973. Any comments there, Commander?
Yeah, it's kind of a special situation because in the 50s, Germany was still divided into 4 occupation zones, and they were all kind of treated semi-independent of each other.
Each country that had control of a region kind of treated it as its own, right?
The French, the British, the Americans, and the Russians. It was divided 4 ways, as was the city of Berlin. And you had to get special permission to cross from one sector into another. Between the Western sectors, those restrictions started to relax kind of in the early 50s, but they were still there. So the key thing to understand is that NATO was formed in large part specifically to protect that western portion of Germany. So the agreement was in place between all those countries that, yeah, we're going to kind of ignore the fact that the verbiage in the actual document says we shouldn't be doing this, but we're going to do it. And I think they could, if there was consensus within the NATO hierarchy right now, invite Ukraine to join at this moment. The trouble is, there isn't that consensus. I would argue a lot of countries would be in a position where they're waiting for the U.S. to propose the notion of doing it. And then they would follow the U.S. lead if we said, yeah, we'd like you to join. But additionally, you end up with 2 obstructionist states, which would prevent, in any event, the Ukrainians getting in, and that's Turkey and Hungary,
Right.
both of which have leaders who are kind of inflexible on that kind of thing. Now, in Turkey's case, you could find a way to buy Erdogan off.
Right.
He's shown repeatedly that he's willing to do that. Orban, on the other hand, no, he's a doctrinal, zealot. He's not going to.
I thought it was Fico. I call him fecal matter. That vowed
It's a good name.
to make it his life's work, so Ukraine doesn't get any aid, doesn't get into NATO or EU. I think he's. I don't want to get it wrong, but Slovakia or Slovenia.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about them. He's kind of new on the block, and there's a sense among some people that he's kind of going to be a flash in the pan. I don't agree with that. The move globally towards more authoritarian regimes would suggest otherwise. But yeah, I mean, he could also block the thing. Honestly, I think NATO could solve that problem real quick by saying, well, okay, you're no longer a member. You don't get a vote. Bye.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There was also, now I'm getting this from a news site here, but it's now looking like the U.S. is willing to put up another $20 billion for the Ukraine effort as part of a G7 loan that would be repaid with profits generated by frozen Russian assets. There's 3 anonymous sources now that have quoted this exact same story to the Financial Times.
It seems like Biden is, just in case Kamala doesn't win and Trump wins, Biden is setting up Ukraine to at least. And I think the artillery is supposed to come like every 3 weeks or monthly. So, so Ukraine isn't left without no aid and no weapons.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's also an International Monetary Fund that has completed review of a fund arrangement for Ukraine that will enable the disbursement of $1.1 billion. And this is again based on Russian seized money and profits from it and whatnot.
But even more than that, I think it's important to note that while we don't talk about it that much, because it's kind of, we only pay attention to the big countries like Britain or Germany or the US making huge donations. A lot of countries are making donations to Ukraine. And I wish I'd been able to fit this in when we were talking about the Baltic states earlier, but I can't remember exactly which one, but one of them has pledged 0.25% of their entire GDP to supporting Ukraine. Pardon?
No, I was thinking of a different thing because I think
No,
Denmark also. But
it may be.
Recently, it was Denmark and Norway. They had packages.
Yeah, I know that all of them have, but one of the Baltic states was the one that said, yeah, we're going to give you 0.25%. And that may not sound like much because small.
It was Estonia.
Yeah. I was just going to say.
Right. It's still an enormous effort on their part to say, we're going to take that much money from our national, our value, our national wealth to support you. That says a lot for how serious they take this situation.
Yeah. But everybody that's remotely close to Russia over in any sense of the word should be flipping out about this situation. And I mean, it's Russia. We know how they think, how they act, how they are. There's no such thing as enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to go back and revisit something real quick.
Yeah.
People talk about, okay, well, what if we made Ukraine a partner or a member of NATO? that would allow them to technically invoke Article 5. However, if you read Article 5, it does not require countries to send military forces to support whoever has been attacked. It simply says support as they deem necessary. And if you look at the amount of money and equipment that all of the NATO countries have been sending, I would contend that effectively they're treating Ukraine as if it's a member of NATO in some ways. They're
within
just
that
not sending
framework,
active troops.
yeah, within that framework, I have to agree for sure.
I want to say recently, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Zelensky said he basically told Trump that
I was going to that. Couldn't wait.
NATO or nukes, and camera needs to be flipped, but NATO
so
or
good
nukes.
that he did that, because I mean Zelensky had to do it, and
So true.
from Budapest Memorandum, America disarmed us, and now there's a little bit more of an upper hand and pressure on Trump to not fuck it up, because Ukraine does have the uranium. We have the people that know how to make the nukes.
Mhm.
I've had a long conversation with my father, and he even told me what institute would make them. Maybe they already have them. We'll see. But I think regardless, NATO or not, Ukraine needs to be armed with nukes.
Some intelligence chief from one of the European countries, I believe, said that if Ukraine wanted to, they could produce a viable nuclear weapon within a couple months.
Yeah.
That was disinformation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ukraine debunked it fast, but
of course they already have the nukes.
It may not be months, but certainly a couple years. They have the equipment, they have the technology, they have the skilled
brains,
personnel,
the people,
and they could. And I think they're holding off because if you use a nuke, the other guy's going to use his nuke. So
it's decimation time. It's no longer,
that is not a road anyone wants to go down.
Stirnenko actually a while back made the comment. He's like, he thinks Ukraine should start building nukes again, and Ukrainians started posting their qualifications on Twitter and in the replies from, I think, the Dia app you guys have, where in Ukraine, they have an app, and all your information is on there, your degrees, your driver's license, everything. And a lot of these guys a lot of the people who posted stuff had degrees in what would be a required field. And people just started sending their qualifications through in the threads. And we're just like, we're ready. Let us know when we start. So when Zelensky made the NATO or nuke comment, Stirnenko retweeted it and said, I'm serious. Just give us the green light and we'll go with this, Mr. President.
Have you guys seen the meme of Budanov? It's like AI, but Budanov and Oppenheimer. First thing Budanov does when he's told to develop the nukes, and then a nuclear program, and then he appears in the Oppenheimer trailer.
Yeah, that's reminiscent of the old Civil War song, "We are coming, Father Abraham, 100,000 strong."
Yeah.
Just call us, Vladimir. We're coming.
Russia is saying we're not going to let Ukraine develop the nuclear. Or what? Oh, yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Invade?
It's and then they'll be like, or we'll nuke you. And I remember it was a stream where Rick and Starsky were on, that Frankie and Kun show. And one of them made the comment, quite frankly, they're already murdering and slaughtering us. And if they nuke us, they're no longer our problem.
Yeah.
So, and I think Rick made the comment we've been living next to Chernobyl for years.
Yeah.
And if you get nuked, you're no longer alive to worry about what's going on. So
that happens pretty quick, I think, right?
Yeah, different stakes. I think, I think Ukrainians view it, there's a certain set of stakes, and the rest of the world is like, we're not currently experiencing this war the same way. And Ukrainians are like, what are they going to do? Kill us faster?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, actually. It makes me so angry that the rest of the world doesn't understand that the axis of evil has been at war with the West for quite some time. This is World War III. They're not stopping.
No,
unless
right now
Russia is defeated.
Right now, Russia's gathering support from its buddies and stuff. There's no singular Russia now. It's the Legion of Doom, the Axis of Evil, right? For sure.
I don't understand why the West is still sleeping.
It's that whole fear of nuclear. And I think at this point, this whole fear of retaliation and so on and so forth has to be put aside for just no. You're not going to just simply march across the globe because we're scared. Enough.
Zelensky also, he debunked it when he was asked, what do you think Putin's going to do? Zelensky said, Putin wants to live. He loves his life way too much.
To do something suicidal.
Plus, a lot of Russian assets, their kids, everyone's in the West. They're not chilling in Russia.
We'll start worrying when all the kids move back. That's when we start worrying.
Yeah. So we got a couple of shout outs here. For Alzen, super chat in. West politicians are pole dancers dancing for votes. Oh, yeah, I'm in agreements there. I'll give a second boom for that one.
That's the democratic system.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we got a couple in from Papa Dutch here. I think RU, Russia, has suffered from its training of nuclear personnel also. Those who maintain them follow the average, right? Good point, right, Commander?
Yeah, and I would also say because a lot of the ones who are more skilled realize they can make a lot more money if they work in other fields than maintaining nukes.
Yeah. And then he had a second super chat here. Again and again, I keep thinking if I was a Russian tech, I'd be scared to touch the damn things.
I can neither confirm nor deny I've been on ships with nuclear weapons.
Yeah. Man, if I was on anywhere near Russian nukes, I would have like a Geiger counter for a watch or something, I mean, for sure. Papa Dutch came in again with another one. Only Ukraine could have built them in the first place, and that pertains to the whole, Ukraine and Russia and stuff and whatnot, right?
Ukraine built the Russian ones. They didn't build them.
Exactly. Yeah. Like a whole whack of stuff that Russia thinks they're cool because it's theirs actually come out of Ukraine, man.
Everything that people think Russia is good at or is famous for, it's actually a famous Ukrainian that's been erased that he's Ukrainian. Anything that they've invented basically is Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Everything. All the wars like back in the day that they won, like in Soviet Union, the Red Army, most of that army was Ukrainian. They don't.
Yeah. And the thing with one of the things just like adding onto that is how Russians take Ukrainian culture and appropriate it. They take other cultures as well and appropriate it. And one of their things was, of course, they said borscht is Russian. So one of my Ukrainian friends sent me a screenshot of Tupia and told me I refuse to believe that the people who made borscht also came up with this shit.
Let me tell you, Russians make the most disgusting borscht.
That is totally true. I know this.
They make that. Yeah. It's so bad.
We've got some like Russian descendant type folk in my area of British Columbia, and they think they've got borscht figured out, and it's just like somebody beat the shit out of a bunch of beets and put it in a damn bowl.
Vegetable soup.
It's
what they make
wrong
with water.
Yeah.
It's gross.
I agree there.
I have kind of an example. So there's like a fairy tale for kids in Russian in Russian that we kind of grew up with. His name is the circle that rolls around through a forest. His name is Kolobok. And so kolo is it's a circle in Ukrainian, but Russians don't have that word at all. But so they go around like so proud of this, but it's like you don't even like it's not your word. Your word for circle is krug. It's not kola. Like it's hard.
I don't think in Russian you're allowed to say circle without jerk being said directly after it. But
I was wondering if you were going to figure out a way to work that in.
I had to.
But well done.
That's Dick, always taking the high road.
Yeah, you gotta be who you gotta be, right? So here we got a couple other shout outs I can get in here. Papa Dutch again. Papa Dutch is on fire here. Thanks, brother Papa Dutch. I wish Ukraine had like backdoor codes to the warheads Russia got from them. Wouldn't that be a really cool thing? Oh yeah, motherfucker, you're gonna threaten me with? Oh, it just went. Oh, isn't that sad?
You have to think, who was it that took away the nukes from Ukraine? It was Americans.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
People were like, "We just want our nukes back. You can like,
Yeah.
just keep them back. We'll take care of it ourselves."
Yeah.
Took them away. Americans took them away and gave it to Russia.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We've got another one here from Papa Dutch, and I'm being taught in the background by Annette how to, say this. So, Agagu Slavie Ukraine. Is that right? I don't know. You can see it in the bottom, just under where I'm speaking, right about there. It's the blue one. It's that one of those moments where my Canadian tongue is just not able to do that. I'm not a gymnast.
It's so blurry for me.
Oh, and it's Slavic Cossack. Sorry.
Oh, how can you get Agagu from that?
I don't. I'm just trying to follow along. I felt like I was singing a Queen song, Radio Gaga. That was a strange moment in my life. We've got a direct donation in as well from Joe Medley, $35, and it's for hashtag not pierogies. All right, cool. I am going to get Slavie to teach me how to say it properly, and I'll rehearse and get it right so we can switch this. But hashtag not pierogi is what it is today. Yeah, see, I just need a few more to program it in.
You did it great last time.
Yeah, nah, it's gone. It's gone. I'm so useless.
Is it that hard of a pronounce? I don't know. I feel like there's much harder words.
I've gone through harder words, but for some reason this one triggers this dyslexic response in me big time, and I just can't get it to happen.
Okay, one more time. Varianiki. Yes, they're almost there.
Okay. So we're going to work on this, and I'm going to get it. So it's hashtag Varianiki.
You got it.
Okay. See, you just have to have the right people around, and you might learn something in your life. We've got Papa Dutch in with a super chat. I don't think Ukraine wants them back. There could be an argument there, that's for sure. Let's see here. How are we for time and whatnot? 1:30. Oh, we're not bad. Okay. So we got like 25 minutes or so. There was a couple other things in a document that I always get by Annette in the chat that on the YouTube account, on the Shills account, that tells me what's going on in the world.
Imagine Ukraine put some nuclear uranium in the drones that they're making.
I will say though, one of the things that really blows me away about this, I won't say conflict because that's bullshit. It's an invasion of a country's sovereign lands. Is how quickly Ukraine was able to dive into its resource of technological smarts and innovation in, the tech industry as a whole, and invent this whole new version of warfare with drones and everything. And look at those ones dealing out those flash nasties that can just go over a trench and just wipe them out and stuff. I mean, holy, when I look at a DJ drone, I never would have thought it could have ever, it's amazing what they've been able to do.
And during wartime, don't forget Ukraine went completely digital in terms of the Dia app and even the government. I mean, imagine DMV was online all of a sudden. Yeah, right. That would never happen.
Wow.
But how much your life would be easier. And this has all happened during wartime and fighting corruption. Went up a lot of points in the corruption index. It's because we want to be in the EU and we have to, put everything in order, right? And it's just been absolutely, Ukrainians are truly heroes. It's incredible. I'm very proud to be Ukrainian, and I look up to every Ukrainian.
You see that? Slavie, you see some of those footage shots where, that somebody's showing you that there's like action going on and there's combat and stuff. And when they show you the road, there's just regular people in cars driving around doing their thing. I don't think I have the balls for that. And I consider myself, I'm not scared of a lot, in normal life, right? But holy.
I have my family there. They're old, my relatives, and in Kharkiv, nonetheless. And they're used to it. They're normal. I asked them, "How was your day?" They're like, "Oh, it's good." And they go and tell me how they went for a walk, and I'm like, "This is." But it's so sad that that's normal for the West, but none of this is normal.
No,
it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
But they're used to it.
And the resilience, the strength of character to just simply carry on and not let it and fluctuate your sense of well-being and daily life and stuff. It's unbelievable.
Actually, yeah. While we had the stream a couple of minutes ago, because I have the app that has the air raids, there was an air raid in Kharkiv, Kiev, another oblast. But in Odessa as well. It's nonstop. It's nonstop. People need some sleep. They need safety, and the most deserving of that are Ukrainians.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Talking about sleep and so on, I was actually thinking about. I realized today how big the impact of the war is on the Ukrainian diaspora as well, because I think that's often a thing that's overlooked, that like people forget, One of my best friends, and you guys, she's been on the Shills Olya. She lives in Cape Town, but her family's from Uman, and she went to visit them a while back and everything. But there was an air show today in Cape Town, and she wasn't up to date with it. She didn't know it. She saw the planes in the air, freaked out. She sent me the videos. She took videos from her balcony and went and hid in the bathroom because she was terrified. She was terrified that something was going to happen. And I looked up online. She's like, maybe it's just a show. So I looked up online, found there's a show not far from her. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's just this. It's at the military base. They're having this outdoor expo show thing. She's like, okay, now I can come out of the bathroom, because she literally told her husband, who's South African, she told him, she's like, if they start dropping bombs, this is what you do. This is the protocol. And one of our and she told me that one of her friends lives in the UK, and they had Guy Fawkes celebrations. And that woman's little daughter was so terrified of the explosions of the fireworks that she hid under the bed.
Wow.
And I think that's one of the things that, there's this kind of disconnect because they're safe in another country, but that trauma that they've experienced in the first few days of the big full-scale invasion, the people who fled back in 2014, they still carry that around.
Yeah.
And yeah,
You'd have to.
So, not to mention generational trauma as well. From
Exactly. I mean,
Holodomors, from genocides.
Like, and I think of like when there were the Polish border blockades, and I remember, they opened the train wagons and grain fell out, and Oya told me, like, we had an event last year, Holodomor Commemoration Day, and she gave a speech on the impact it had on her family alone, and she also spoke about like how as a child she was raised to, you always you always take care of everything, and the grandmother was like, you're so lucky that you don't know how it feels to be hungry.
Yeah.
So with that background, then
always
seeing them
finish the bread. Bread is sacred. You always finish it, even the bread.
Whoa. Sorry. I totally misclicked. My finger twitched and I hit a thing and sorry. Go ahead. Oops.
So it was, I know, like, I think for a lot of Ukrainians, it was very traumatizing seeing all that grain just being spilled out. Because that's,
They did that on purpose, and they know that, of course.
They do,
It was really obviously offensive, and Ukraine was very offended. But there's still so much beef with Poland and Ukraine, and they can't figure out like the history over the Volyn massacre. I think it's obviously difficult. I mean, because you're dealing with a lot of unresolved issues, and we actually had it's actually quite interesting when you start seeing how well people know their Eastern European, although Polish people in the chats, I know you prefer to be called Central European. But that tension there, because one of our friends was like, why doesn't Ukraine just have an agreement with Poland that they quickly recognize Ukraine as Polish and then do it? And one of our Polish volunteers was like, mate, that's not going to happen. A lot of fraught history between us two.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying, but it's kind of understand both sides. Obviously, understand Ukrainian side more. How can you do this to us? All these relations during war, while we're literally can we figure this out later?
Yeah, when we're not being killed.
Yeah, and Poles, they just now. Only after we figure this out will help. And even Zelensky, he came to some kind of ceremonial thing that Poland want him to do, during wartime, like whatever you guys want, and still they're just won't budge, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we have that volunteer of ours, when the border blockade was going on, I spoke to one of my other Polish friends. He said, I sent him this and I'm like, dude, what the hell are you guys doing? He's like, this isn't in any of our news. It wasn't covered anywhere.
A lot of it was Russian, Russia had a lot to do with it.
But it wasn't covered in their news at all. And then one of my other Polish friends, he and some Ukrainians who live there, they had a protest to basically bring awareness of it. But
I've got Commander, are we not hearing you?
Oh, no.
No, rejoin, Commander. I think it fell apart on your side. Okay. We've also got somebody who's going to be joining us in a second. So we've got another guest coming in. But I'll leave the suspense
mystery
for a minute. Yes.
Mystery guest is.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, then I'm thinking about some talk show.
Rick!
Yeah.
Sorry for everyone with headphones. Also, Rick, I also finally have a PK patch.
One sec, Rick. Nobody can hear you until I get you in the show proper. 1 second here. I'm going as quick as I can, and I think we should have Rick. You're on the show, buddy. It's great to see you. How you doing?
Rick, hi, by the way. We haven't met Rick, but hi. Love your videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Slavie, I think you need to reintroduce yourself. I don't think Rick heard you because
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I was like, hi, Rick. We haven't met, but I love your videos. I'm Slavie. Like a fangirl.
Yeah. She's
understandable.
yeah. She's born in Ukraine and living in LA. So yeah.
To LA? 15 years ago, but I'm from Kharkiv. Yeah, the whole family is from Kharkiv, and my relatives are still in Kharkiv. So, yeah.
Test.
Yeah. Oh.
Yay.
Yeah, sorry. There was an issue and nobody was hearing Rick, and now they can. Sorry, everybody. It was one of those glitches. It just sometimes life isn't perfect, and other times it's even less so. What are you gonna do?
It feels like you're joking now or trolling. I don't know.
Yeah, Dick. The correct line is sometimes life isn't perfect, and sometimes it's the shills.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, look at you guys, eh? Showing off the Project Constantine patches.
Nice.
I think I mirrored, right? Because you see the...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can see yours properly, yeah.
Yes, mirror, flip it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just flipped them. There we go.
Much better now. Nice.
Cool.
Yay!
Oh.
Well, Dick, it's lovely to see you again and to talk to you again.
And
Finally.
yourself, yes, it's been a while. You know, the full-time Roland is treating you well. You're doing good. I still don't understand how you can fit 27 hours into a 24-hour day, but you seem to be doing it. So I'm impressed.
You don't understand. I also don't understand because I don't do that. This is why it's not simple.
So
I have so many questions, guys. But Dick, maybe you gotta follow the flow, right?
Well, what's on your mind, Rick? Where would you like to go with the conversation here?
Well, a lot of topics, a lot of good topics, like Ukrainian prisoners of war, who we must talk of all the time instead of. Okay, sorry, guys. Like, I'd prefer to talk about the Ukrainian prisoners of war and Russian prisoners of war instead of going into geopolitics. But to be honest, I also go into geopolitics sometimes, just because it's also an interesting topic. But my priority is this. This is why I'm doing these free Azov streams every week. And yes, Sunday for me is sometimes 10-hour work day, because I spend 2 hours there on Free Azov actively talking to people and basically yelling on them because there's so much honking going on there that I just cannot speak quietly, and I need to yell all the time. So they are pretty loud streams, pretty yelly, and it's not easy to follow it because it's too loud and people can get overwhelmed. But so many stories. Some of them are heartbreaking. Some of them are very inspiring. Some of them, you can meet an Azov soldier there who went through Azovstal defense, as I once did, who was in captivity for 4 months, who was then going back to the battlefield and then being injured for the third time. Like incredible story of an incredible person. And we have these meme words here in Ukraine. Potужный, незламный, which is unbreakable, powerful, like, but those people are really like that, like what they go through. And then I invited him to my stream, that Azov warrior. He was a battalion commander, by the way, before he got injured the third time. So now, unfortunately, he's not a battalion commander. So you can understand how high he is.
Yeah.
On the rank. Oh my God. Can you remind me the name of the kitty?
Toby.
Toby, yes. I think I'll remember it from this try. Toby. He's so cute. Nice.
I think he's being shy.
Okay, so getting back to my story, I invited him to my stream, and he shared with us how it was actually, coming back from captivity changed him, because it was really hard and overwhelming for him to accept what has happened, and actually to stay the same. He went to the therapy, and it helped him a lot, and he realized that only real men cry, only after that. So when he stopped being afraid of his emotion and let it out, guys, you can understand how tough that guy is, what he came through. And then have been a battalion commander, he has to be a soldier to the bone, meaning no emotions, orders, subordinates, discipline. But he's such a wholesome person. Just
right.
His call sign is Mangust, like mongoose. His name is Serhiy, and he is a reconnaissance, Azov's reconnaissance commander. Like, he's guys. Yesterday there was an exchange, a prisoner exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The information for some reason was delayed about that prisoner exchange.
Yeah.
Like for 5 hours. So I sit in the middle of the night. It was already 30 minutes past 12, and I see news popping up like crazy. I go watch the videos, then the photos, and on one of the photos, I see Mangust hugging two guys.
Word.
It was just mind
You're
blowing.
like, hey, I know this dude.
Yes, and, I was. It's not like it was totally different for me this time. I was like smiling like crazy,
grinning ear to ear.
Yes, I was so happy for him and for his guys. I even started crying a bit. It's not like I don't cry. I cry a lot.
I cried for a couple of hours after seeing that video yesterday from the release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that old saying, real men don't cry? No, that's redneck men. Real men do cry. It's fine.
Yeah, it's totally fine. So, and it's healthy. It's healthy to let your emotions out.
Damn right, brother.
Yeah. So, and I was like, oh my God, that's totally different experience when you see a person that you know that is waiting for his subordinates from captivity, and there was still like 9 of them in captivity, so -2, still 7, so it's not over. I cannot congratulate him completely, and he says we can only say that it was like surrendering to captivity there in Azovstal. It was not in vain, only when I got to see all my boys being back, each and single one of them. So that's a happy moment for him, but not to the full extent. It's just it's just impossible for now. I think we will at some point make Russia give all the Azov warriors back. It's just a matter of force.
Better. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically the main topic that's on my mind. We definitely gotta talk with you guys about it. What do you think? Your comments?
I was happy.
Rick,
I
in
was
your
very happy.
opinion, how is the mental health care in Ukraine?
Like, you mean the... Of course, there's a private psychotherapy, and it is sometimes on a high level. Sometimes you can get to some incompetent therapist, of course. I think we still have a lot to work on here in Ukraine, considering the regulations of psychotherapy and different approaches. Because I know personally, because I was involved in psychotherapeutical movement here in Ukraine, so I know I know one exact, how do you call them? Approach. Yeah, approach. If you guys know, you probably got to know it, Gestalt approach. Does some of you know that one?
I do
I
not.
already know the art principle of it. But
Yeah, I know that they unfortunately need a huge reform and regulation because they do some, not all the time, like part of it, like there are some awesome therapists that, and they are usually those who actually follow not one approach, but combine many approaches. Those who follow just one approach usually have big flows.
I'm just curious, is there psychiatrists that give you like a traditional medication?
Yeah, sure. Of course, there are psychotherapists, there are psychiatrists, and ideally they need to work together, not just psychiatrist or psychotherapist. Well, if the person, a good psychotherapist will get the person through the tests and see if the person needs to also be directed to the psychiatrist for the meds, especially with depressions. It's just unavoidable. Depression is something that is hormonal. It cannot be treated just with psychotherapy because in most cases, of course, but there are some exceptions. Still, I'm not a psychotherapist. I just know some shit about it. So
it's very interesting. I'm just wondering if there's anything that the West can do in terms of mental health that Ukraine needs.
I know the answer to this question. You gotta stop being stop being the fucking chicken shit.
I was waiting for that. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for putting it in clear English.
Yeah, that's the kind of language I can understand.
There was I know there was a Ukrainian psychologist who was talking about what Ukrainians will have to go through to kind of recover from the war and everything, and she said that one of the main differences between how the Western approach is for dealing with like soldiers who have PTSD versus like from the West versus how the approach will have to be for Ukraine is the fact that a lot of what Ukrainians are dealing with is survivor's guilt, and the techniques that psychologists in America and in the UK and in France and all over those places have for kind of treating soldiers who came back from Iraq and Afghanistan won't necessarily work because the psyche was different, because they weren't the ones being invaded. They were the ones kind of, and that changes on a different psychological level, the approach that will be needed.
Also different cultures who address feelings in different ways.
Yeah. Also, there is one important thing in all of this and difference is that our war is still going, and when our soldiers are coming back to the rear, they are not being in a not in a peaceful country.
Right.
Because if we talk about the U.S. soldiers who fight in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, elsewhere,
That's right. When they come
They
home,
come
they're
back.
on free soil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And the environment around them is peaceful, is normal. Our soldiers are listening to shaheeds flying over their heads in the night when they are coming back injured and going through rehabilitation.
Yeah.
They hear explosions, they hear the gunfire. It's just impossible to use the approaches and use the techniques here in Ukraine that I used in US or other countries or European countries, because European countries also have their troops stationed around the world in different countries.
That's
So
a damn good point, man.
yeah, so nothing will work, unfortunately, right now. And you know what? I was discussing it with my wife today, and she actually gave me a great point that right now, psychotherapists should not work with our military at all, because in the army, I mean, like the active military, not those who are veterans. Also, yeah, we come back to the previous point, but let's keep on this one. So, because in the army, you should not let your fear, your emotions, take you over.
They can't dictate the moment, right?
Yes. You should always fight that fear. You should always put it down. You should always put down the emotions that may actually, for
your own sake, you got to stuff them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They may drive you away from your mission, and you may fail the mission and your brothers in arms. So, under no circumstance, normal therapists, like the civil therapists, should work with the military. Military ideally should work with a specialized military.
And they have like the 67th. The 67th have their own, like they have a group of psychologists there.
And the groups should be formed inside their unit with their own, like secrets and personal stuff, because in the army it's very important, and it's not like in civil life. So what we need to do right now is we actually gotta do the opposite of the normal life psychotherapy.
Yeah.
So
I know. Yeah. So we.
And once again, it's left on the Ukrainian shoulders to come up with a new method of warfare, new method of, rehabilitation. Like, you guys got a lot on your fucking shoulders, buddy. Holy.
Yeah.
And mostly those like me who are in the rear, we're not paying the real price for that. And I just hate when people call me hero or some shit like that just because I helped the army. No, I'm in safety, guys. I'm just doing my responsibility. My primary responsibility would be to actually enlist into the army. But since I don't have the guts to do so, I found another way to help.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing the minimum.
Don't ever put this on your shoulders as a bad thing, because I'm not the person that could do it either, but I'm the person that could do it in the presentation manner and helping and collecting and gathering the way you would. I would be in the exact same spot. I would be the worst. I'm partially on the autism spectrum and so on and whatnot. And I'd be the worst person to be in a situation of chaos and actual threat and stuff, because I would overload and I wouldn't be able to handle it,
Well, I actually think that, we know less about ourselves and our capabilities before we get into this in the situation. So I could be actually good in this if I enlist. Who knows? And that depends on the specialty and profession. But you gotta fight that fear and cross the line at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know what future brings for
You
me.
do.
We'll see.
You do so much good for the cause where you are that I would be hard pressed to believe that it would be a good idea to take away what you deliver now so that you could be one extra person in the situation. I'm
I
not sure that
understand.
equates.
I understand that, and actually, that's a great way for me to cope.
That's not coping. That's reality, though. It's actually true.
I know. I will not be humble in this. I do not just me together with my community, but we provide a good result, a good help. It's a good level of help. Definitely.
Your result, what you provide financially and support wise and stuff, is so above and beyond what you actually should be able to actually provide at your sub count and reach and stuff. You're that small team in auto racing that always wins, even though they don't have the budget of the big players. That's Rick the Ukrainian, man.
Actually,
That's how I feel our community does.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it must also be difficult for you when you have soldiers on and they talk about a lack of manpower.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of, adds to your guilt. So I told you this a while ago. Go make a list of everything you've fundraised so far, everything you've done so far, and then
my team is actually doing it without even my
awesome.
initiative. Like they started collecting the list, and the number of fundraisers we closed just besides
it's just ridiculous at this point
of NATO trucks and NATO stuff. It's 69 or 70 fundraisers, guys.
Yeah. And those are all things that help people. So kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'm keeping that in mind. I can actually deal with that. Like, I'm not actually going into the guild. No. I am realizing everything. I'm conscious at and I also realize that I can deal with my both guilt, shame, and sometimes lack of recognition to myself. Like sometimes it is hard to recognize what you achieve or to give yourself a credit.
I go through this.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I think guys, my community also teaches me a lot. I feel like I actually said that a few times already. I think one time it was during the snatch delivery with Greg when I was driving in the night and decided to record a video from the snatch, and I started being philosophical and talking about what Rollers taught me, what my cat Floki taught me. She taught me an unconditional love. Rollers taught me the generosity and being kind to people and giving anything unconditionally, like just give it because people need it. And before Rollers taught me that, I was actually a pretty
cynical.
Not cynical, no. I was a person, not a greedy one, but the person who was really given something to other people, like hardly, like
right.
Very, like I try to keep everything to myself. I was the
miserly.
Opposite. How?
Miserly.
I hear this word for the first time.
Being a miser is somebody who grabs their wealth and cash and situation and keeps it to themselves.
Yeah. And
I got like an introvert from that.
Yeah.
And you mean like you see an introvert when I say that? But
Yeah,
I'm,
I got the vibe of introverts. I don't
Oh.
know, not completely different from what Dick was saying, but
yeah,
Yeah.
My energy, I'm not sharing my positive vibes.
yeah, like I can see myself. He said, and
yeah, and it's like, but it works. They taught me, rollers taught me that the more you give, the more actually you will receive, and
Word up.
it is a paradox,
Yeah.
but it's such a cool paradox. And
Look at Rick the Ukrainian using words like paradox comfortably now. Impressive.
what do you mean? Paradox is an easy one.
Yeah.
You've corrupted him.
Uh,
Never be the same again.
Yeah, we learned the lesson of the viewers' generosity and willingness to help and whatnot just before the whole Ukraine war kicked off, or the invasion of Russia. We do these fundraisers every so often where we go to a website called onesimple.wish.org, and it's where you can find a child that's on the foster care system and maybe buy them their new bicycle or get them some winter clothes or whatever they need. And every so often we just throw out one of those fundraisers for one of those kids. I usually try to find ones that are like special needs type, and we throw up a fundraiser to get a child an iPad, and we can close it out inside of an hour. And we're just like, yeah, that's pretty cool, man. We got viewers, man. I'm loving this, right? It fucking feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does feel good. I think it's the best thing that you can do is to give something to people unconditionally and actually give them some care and support. It feels so good. And actually, I went, I'm not sure if it's the next level, but I'm so excited about this. Do you guys know, I mean, Jana should know Aziza. Jana, do you know Aziza already?
I know of her, but I don't know her personally.
You gotta meet on my stream someday. And you know what, Dick? You need to invite Aziza to your stream. She's a musician. She's a painter.
Excellent idea. Yeah.
She's a musician and a painter, and I'm totally blown away by her music as the Rollers. And I looked at her and her situation, and I thought, fuck, I know what to do to actually make her famous and prosperous.
Right.
That's what she deserves. She's so talented. Each roller can confirm. Guys, the level of her music is like I don't know, it's like some Adele or what do we have there? Something big and famous.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Yes, why not? Taylor
And
Swift,
with this whole family of channels with Greg and so on and all these people together where we all kind of gel into a community, we've got enough reach to help somebody like that actually become a professional musician, right? We do.
Is. The thing is, she is a professional musician.
Oh, awesome. That's even better. Yeah.
And she had a band that was called Mystic Rose, but she doesn't like her songs from those times because they were like, not most of them, but at least 50% of them were in Russian. She was a Russian speaker, just like me before 2022. But in 2022, she, just like me, realized that it's important to switch to Ukrainian, that it's important to, be interested in politics, to be, to totally change your life. That's how it happened to me. That's how it happened to Aziza. And we are, definitely on the same page with her. And we did such a cool concert with her in the end of August. I think it was the last day of summer. We went to a studio. I have a friend who was head of the production studio here in Kyiv. So she came to Kyiv. She right now lives in Odessa Oblast. And guys, she was singing 22 songs nonstop. And before that, there was 1.5 hour sound check, and she didn't look tired at all. She said, "You
Right.
know what? I can do that for hours."
When
She
you use proper technique, it doesn't kill you. When you don't, you're done for, right? So
Yes.
she knows what she's doing, right?
she is controlling her voice awesomely. So, like, she had a band where they actually released an album with an orchestra. So
Wow.
so you can imagine that she's a professional. But the thing is, that band got separated. It fell apart, and she is right now alone, and she was desperate. She told me a few days ago that lately she was desperate, and she thought that she will have to abandon the music, but she loves it so much. It's basically her soul, her life. And she said, but now, we got to get to that, what I want to help her with.
Yeah.
So, but now she's inspired and by me and rollers. Now she sees that everything is possible, and she just need not to give up.
Yeah.
And we've done that concert. I can may I ask you, Dick, to actually add her channel to the description of the stream, if you don't mind, for people to check that out, because her music from that concert, I started cutting the separate songs from that concert, giving it to her, and she's posting on her
Cool. You should send
channel.
me a couple. Let me do a little audio engineering touch up to it to make it sound as good as it can be. And maybe I can rotate a couple of them as the intro song for the Saturday stream and give her a little, push.
It doesn't need much of audio engineering, by the way, because it was professional.
Yeah, but a live board thing, a little compression, just a little, I've got studio monitors and I'm
check it out. Maybe you check it out during the stream when I'm continuing my story. But here's one song of her. That one was released the first. It's in Krymli, the Crimean Tatar language.
Okay.
And most of her songs are on this language, but there are many in English. Some of them are mixed English plus Crimean Tatar plus Ukrainian.
Right.
Of course, not a single song in Russian now. Guys, there was
an
one
ugly language anyway.
It is. There was one song in German that she surprised us with on that concert. Yeah,
that's cool,
and it sounds fucking powerful, guys. Just check out that channel. So this is not the end of the story.
Yeah.
Right now, these days, Aziza is streaming 2 or 3 times a week. She's streaming from her phone on some dating app called Bagel Live. Guys, a professional musician.
You got to get her putting this on YouTube because you're going to get paid on YouTube quicker than anywhere else, right?
Yes, exactly.
That was actually huge. There's a lot of musicians there. Undiscovered, but you can make money through it. It used to be big, live streaming. I'm not advocating for it, but
yeah. I have to check it out.
Okay, what you told me, yeah.
No, you finish, and then I'm going to do our super chat shout outs and stuff. And then we got to get into wrap up mode because I've got parenting, Commander's got stuff going on, and everybody's life is just going to go boom. So,
So let me finish the story quick.
Yeah.
This is initially a dating app. Even if there's many musicians there, she cannot earn there. It's just the fact she's not earning much there these days. So I thought, why not we rollers have a side project? Yeah, Dick has an emergency, but I need to keep talking. Okay, have a side project and raise funds. Dick. So why won't we have a side project and raise funds for equipment for her to start streaming on Twitch? On Twitch, there's a whole niche of musicians and
Okay.
it's going to be big. She may be earning pretty well there. That's
Yeah,
the
I
first
don't know
thing.
Twitch well, so I wouldn't have any advice about that as an avenue to make money. But I do know,
No,
obviously,
it's
lots of people make money on
Yeah.
Twitch, right?
It's-
Yeah.
yeah.
I've been
Mhm.
there. I've been in the segment of musicians, not like a musician.
I
but
swear too
I
much
can't-
for Twitch. I don't think they would ever want me
Yeah,
around.
they're terms
wait,
of service.
It's a bunch of gamers. They're all swearing. What do you mean?
Yeah,
That's also true. Yeah, that's also true.
It's a bunch of
I mean-
stoners and gamers.
Yeah,
Tyler one, just watch one of his streams. You'll be like, oh,
I've
Dick
I've
is
read their
me.
terms of service, and I always think to myself, I don't think we belong there. But
I think you do. I think you do. Like actually,
maybe we should try it, right? I've got
just
that.
do multi-streaming.
Well,
Dick.
yeah, I've got my own second server, like a big badass HP workstation computer with dual Xeons and everything. So I can restream to as many damn places as I want, and it doesn't harm my computer's performance. But
Yeah.
I have a Mac Studio with the Ultra chip and everything, so you can't harm my performance anyway. I can pretty much do whatever I want.
Dick, I'm sorry, but we have another expert here to tell us what equipment is going to be good for Aziza, and she knows about that equipment herself too.
Good.
So we already made a meeting with my friend Karlen from Kyiv. He was the head of that studio. He's not anymore. He decided to move on. But anyway, we got a setup. We got a sum of money that we need for that setup. It's $3,200, and we already raised around 1,250. So almost halfway to go. And I think by the end of the month, probably we will close that.
Yeah.
And we will make Aziza prosperous. I'm sure of it. Also, I'm helping her to open the private entrepreneur account here in Ukraine, to open her monobank base. That's the Ukrainian,
Oh,
that's
Now
the
you're
Ukrainian
talking.
analog
Yeah.
of Buy Me a Coffee. Buy Me a Coffee, fuck them. They
Well,
were
Yeah.
blocking the Informa Palm's account.
Yeah.
Do you guys know Informa Palm?
I watched a stream about them.
Guys, I have something to share. Rollers did not see it yet. That's an exclusive.
Oh.
Look what I have.
Yeah.
Come on, focus.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, shit.
It's
Come
going
on.
like pixelated or something right now.
Yeah.
What the hell is it doing?
Sometimes it is focusing, sometimes not. And it's hard to make it focus. Oh, I need to get more light on it. Yes, that helped.
There we go.
Ah.
That's a coin.
Challenge coin. Cool.
Yeah, it's dedicated to the 10th anniversary of the formation of Informa. They are the international OSINT community, open source intelligence community, and based on their investigations, their MH17 case was solved. So it's such a fucking honor to receive it.
Cool.
From one of the volunteers of this community, also a patch here now.
Yeah.
I am so honored. That was so unexpected. I helped them a bit with Buy Me a Coffee because Buy Me a Coffee just deactivated their page, guys. It's fucked up. And the reason was like they retweeted a few. They did not even do it on Buy Me a Coffee. They retweeted a few posts of wild hornets, the Ukrainian drone, and in this way they like kind of support the war effort by supporting the drone community. So, and we put pressure. I already had a contact of what's his first name? Not Jason, but oh my God. Whatever, guys. The Sunny guy. He is the co-founder of Buy Me a Coffee. I had it after I started my campaign, and he reached out to me. Well, to make Buy Me a Coffee reconsider, and we actually were successful in that. Thank you, everyone, the fellow babies too, who contributed to that and who was spamming Buy Me a Coffee with that. Thank you guys. So we made them reconsider, and together with Inform Napalm, started being aggressive on Twitter, saying, "Dudes, that's the Russian lobbying you have there. It's
exactly.
Messed up.
What are you doing, guys? You know."
And in a few days, Joseph, his name is Joseph. Joseph Sonny contacted them saying, "Oh, there was a mistake. We reactivated your page and actually get you a few credits, like a fuel, they call their, like, instead of coffees, you can buy them fuel because they are napalm, you know." And they were just reactivating it, apologizing, but it was only because I
Pushed them to.
I wanted to, like, the next day after they done that, I wanted to start a campaign to actually call people to boycott them, but it was not necessary since they're reactivated the page.
I didn't have to pull the real trigger, but I fucking would.
Yeah. It is. But guys, I've started one campaign. I could have done it twice. It's not a problem. But Dick, I know you got to get to the super chats. I'm talking too much.
All good. Let me jump in here with a few. There was Papa Jutch with a $10 super chat. AGA equals hooray. Y equals and Slav equals glory. Kozak. Well, you know exactly what that is. And that was the other super chat where I couldn't pronounce it, right? So.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, now we have some closure, right? You know, Papa Dutch has brought us to the level of reality, and our feet are now on the ground. Thanks, Papa Dutch. We got Mitch Dash down in with a $20 super chat. There's no message, but tag me in the chat if you want, and we'll give you a shout out for something horrifically graphic and inappropriate, or whatever you want to say. It's fine. Papa Dutch in with another one. I've been learning Ukrainian from Pastor Greg, and that explains how he knows how to pronounce that mess, because I had no idea what I was doing. And quite honestly, though, we've got Slavie and Rick on the stream right now, and they didn't get it either. So I'm not sure Rick's got you with the best lesson, or Greg's got you with the best lessons. But I had to pull that out just because it lets me get Greg with a little. So let's play some heavenly music for Greg, shall we? We've got Papa Dutch, and again here with another super chat. Papa Dutch is on Shills fire. Here, wait a minute. Shills fire. Super chat monitors censorship is such a ruinous limit to conversation in adult forums that I wonder who the fuck, I'll put it in, invited Walt Disney to the conversation. Sometimes, Papa Dutch, I agree. It feels like you got Mickey Mouse himself with his hand on your scrotum, threatening to squeeze if you say the wrong thing in a YouTube live chat. So, you know, Mickey, hands off the scrotum, all right? We got Johnny Nedregard in the chat there, the Streaminator. And I remember when that super chat came in, that was my remark, how Rick can stream 27 hours in a 24-hour day. I still don't understand how he can do it, but he is a absolute Streaminator. And then we got Papa Dutch in with a couple here. This one's a $50 super chat. This one's for Rick, whatever you need the damn cash for. So Rick, I'll send it over to you after. It being a super chat, you know, I gotta wait for the cycle, right? But I'll get it all sorted out for you. And then we got Papa Dutch in with a second one here for $20. Also for Rick, I can't second guess what you need. Sometimes I have good ideas, but you're the guy on the actual ground. But I often wish I could do more than just chuck money at it. But without cash, what the fuck can anyone do? Right?
I know what Papa Dutch can do. he can
Yeah.
come to more of my streams. He can do that.
Exactly, right? Yeah. Papa Dutch, grab another 6-pack and head over to another Rick the Ukrainian stream.
I haven't seen
love
you
it.
there in a while. Sorry, Papa Dutch. I haven't seen you there like in a month or so. So
Well,
come over. It's awesome there.
It's one of those things where we all get some viewers that cycle and they hang out at your channel for a bit, but then they end up at our channel for a bit, and then they end up watching Greg a bit more for a bit. But there is a group that just cycle around this little family of channels. And what that proves to me is you all value sleep more than you do watching us. So sleep less, watch more. Okay.
Your health is secondary.
Good consumer advice. We got Michael's in the chat here with a super chat as well. Rick, you having a job and you're doing it well. And that's in response to that whole thing we had, that conversation there. You know, your contribution cannot be minimized in any way. And moments of doubt should be washed away as you look at the financial tallies of your results, because you, sir, deserve to be saluted.
Thank you, guys. I have less and less doubt the more it goes, to be honest, even though I have like twice or even triple less viewers on my streams lately. Like
the views for everything Ukraine are down right now. You're feeling that too, right? Yeah. Everybody is. Yeah.
It's it does not demotivate me anymore. I see the result. It
should motivate you more.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. And I just see the result. We keep the consistency of raising funds. And to be honest, that is even growing bit by bit. We raise more money each week now.
Yeah.
And rollers are being crazy sometimes, like throwing thousands and thousands of dollars into these fundraisers. And guys, we have, for example, have an underdog. You remember the cartoon, our underdog?
Yeah.
The character. So we have a guy, his name is Wally Drennan, and his character is underdog. No need to fear, the underdog is here. His motto is, and he jumped in a few of our fundraisers, basically saving our asses. Once he donated $33,000 to our NATO truck campaign.
Oh, Lord Thunder and Jesus, boy. Wow.
Yeah, and that's another lesson for me to it's just like I feel that we have consistency, resilience. Me and my community, we there's nothing impossible for us. Yeah. Like so
you prove it.
Yeah, I just don't care about the views anymore. I just care about
results. It's results, right? Yeah,
and also all wholesomeness, because by chasing the results, you can actually lose that wholesomeness.
Oh, dude, the worst thing you can do as an honest, from the heart YouTube creator is start chasing the analytics and stuff, because then you're not an honest from the heart YouTube creator. You're now some asshole that just wants to be a YouTube creator, right? Nobody wants that,
Exactly. So just a few super chats from you, right?
Yeah. So we've also got SSW Custom Sewing in with a super chat here. Thanks everyone. Great show. Let's see if the animation will work. There it is. We've got is that Michael Michelle? I'm getting that little bit of a blurry eye thing. I've got to increase the screen here. Mar in the chat, $20 super chat as well. For Rick, whatever's needed most. So awesome shout. And I'll just look over onto the other services. I do believe we're caught up, and we've got to get ourselves into wrap up moments, right? So let's go.
Dick,
Yeah.
may I ask you to actually keep all those super chats to you guys? Your project needs that too. Your project is awesome, and I am very grateful to you for what you're doing. You're doing great things. So
Thanks, buddy.
keep that, please, and I will just ask people to become a member on my base if they want to support me, to go there and become a monthly subscriber. It starts with $3 only. It's in hryvnias. So if you can do that, guys, that is more helpful. Just $3 per month is actually more helpful than giving me $20 one time. Believe me. The consistency of that.
Yeah, you can't structure your life around one-time shouts. The members, the people that commit monthly, make all the difference to a YouTube channel and its ability to function the way that you, the viewer, want it to.
Yeah. So thank you guys for all that support, and Dick will keep it. So please, if you want to support me, go there and subscribe on the base. This transfer from Buy Me a Coffee to the base takes a lot of time, work, and gives me some stress. Not a heavy one, but I also lost some subscribers there because they just some of them is not answering to me, and like minus 40 people who still stayed on Buy Me a Coffee won't be transferring to any platform, so I'll just cancel their memberships, and that's all. So I need your help on the base right now. If you can help me with that, please go and do that. If you're here in the chat and you actually subscribe to my Buy Me a Coffee, you need to cancel that one before the 1st of November, because some of you, I know that you maybe visiting the Shills more often than my streams. Maybe you missed that information. So that's
that's dead end street. It's over. They have left Ukraine hanging in the lurch, and they must be avoided at all costs now. Screw them.
Not all of them, please.
Yes.
PK still on Buy Me a Coffee.
Yeah,
Don't-
guys.
Okay.
We're not boycotting them. Okay.
Well, I'm angry still. That whole thing was a nightmare, you know.
Mhm.
They are actually managing the crisis right now, and to be honest, they're not doing the worst. They're a
They're not
company.
Patreon, so you know.
Yeah, but like they could be doing better, and I just am forced to leave it because they decided not to allow Ukrainians to receive the withdrawals on their private entrepreneur accounts, only on their personal accounts. Since I'm doing this as a private entrepreneur and I'm paying taxes, I have no other option but to leave that platform because I cannot receive money on my personal account, because then I would have to pay.
You're preaching to the choir here, man. Oh yeah, I do this dance too.
three times more taxes, or I would be dodging taxes. So that's not an option for me. This is why I'm forced to leave Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you, Dick, for posting that link in the chat. Maybe
Absolutely. The team's on it as well, buddy. It's great to have you back over, man. Very cool.
I'm happy.
You know,
I'm happy to
you've
be
got
here.
our new link, so save that link because you can join in anytime. You know, you've always got an open invitation around here, brother.
As I told you, I'm happy to be here always, and I would love to join every Saturday. And it's of course good for my channel and for my,
collaborations do work, right?
Project. Yeah, so it only benefits me, but I need to rest sometimes. And
yes, I know Saturday's your day, right? You know.
Yes, Saturday is actually, dude. I worked for 5 hours today. Still, like,
wow.
So it's not a.
Wifey gonna kick your ass, buddy. Slow it down a little.
It's not a holiday to the full extent, but at least some. And some Saturdays are becoming the real holidays. So not the holiday. How do you call that? Not the weekend. Yeah, probably
a rest day.
A rest day. Yeah. A rest day. So yeah, more super chats to read out loud.
Yeah. Let's see here. Actually, I am caught up, and I do believe on direct donations we're caught up. We did really good today on direct donations for the hashtag Not Pierogi Fund. Slavie, how do I say that again?
Vareniki.
Varyaniki.
Vareniki.
Oh, see? Y'all make me look so
Yes.
bad. But that it's in reference to the local bakery deli that's half owned by Ukrainians and half owned by Portuguese in my little town. And they do a lot of fundraising, so we support their efforts quite often around here.
Nice.
Yeah. They're really cool. And man, do they feed me well. Oh, they're so good.
Okay. I see.
Yeah. So we
Super
gotta
chat.
we gotta get our wrap ups done here. So Apatox comes in with a super. Apatox in with a super chat. Here's to our wider community. Awesome show. So let's switch over to Jana now for thoughts and wrap ups here. What do you think?
Yes, thank you guys for having me. And I just want to give you a quick, it's going to be quick. It's like bullet lists, okay, of what we have done so far with campaign 22, okay?
It's a big one.
Yeah, we have 15 Starlinks. 8 of them are active thanks to our Starlink parents. If you want to adopt a Starlink, it's on our Buy Me a Coffee. Then you sponsor the monthly donation for that.
And what you accomplish by sponsoring that cannot be surmised in one sentence. Do it.
So then we have one Mavic 3 thermal drone. That was Helena's birthday drone. 5 Mavic 3 Pro drones, 13 portable power stations. 4 trucks have already been delivered. There are another 5 currently being fixed up, and 3 proper gaming laptops. And not because the guys are gaming, it's because that's the only thing that's able to power the software.
Yeah. They're kick-ass systems. That's what you want, is horsepower, right? Yeah.
And then on Monday, I'll be spending about the equivalent of $29,000. We'll be buying 5 repeater drones.
Cool.
But $30K. I'm like,
yeah, but it's
so weird being able to have that money.
Yes.
Because I remember last year, we were in the forest, and one of the guys there, he went out for a poo, and he was hit by a Russian drone.
Oh.
And Pete told, I mean, he's okay. He's relatively okay. His leg got injured. He had to get that operated and everything. But after that, Pete told us, he's like, guys, can we please fundraise for drone jammers? And we looked at the prices, and basically it was decided it's not worth fundraising for it because we will never reach that goal. And now we're at a point where we're like, okay, we're able to just buy this, and it's thanks to everyone's support that we're able to do this.
Yeah, to be able to pull something like that out of a hat is nothing short of spectacular, right? You know? You know what? I do believe that we just lost Slavie due to battery issues, because she told me I'm running low on juice here, and she was getting a weird hum on the microphone when plugged in, so it wasn't working, and I think we just lost her. So I'm going to check on WhatsApp to see if I get a message I can give everybody. But I know that she would totally love it if you get over and sub to her channel. We'll get the mods dropping the link here. They're usually as fast as I can talk, because, well, our team is the team that teaches other teams how it's actually done, to be honest. and yeah, you also got to get over to Jana's Project Constantine and get subbed. We've got channels that have to be monetized properly, and we need cash coming in, because these are Ukraine support channels, right? So this is important stuff. So get your ass over there and click that sub button. Commander, before the bionics fail, what do you think, buddy?
Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay. I will end, of course, with my usual encouragement to everybody to communicate with their elected officials to continue supporting Ukraine, that it's very important. And I would also like to urge all American citizens who are going to watch this that it's vitally important you vote for the correct side, not the right side, the correct side in the upcoming election, because we are, in my opinion, literally deciding the fate of the world.
Yes. It's no slack of words to say that we need Harris elected right now to save what we are as a global people, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a whether you like Harris or not, or the policies that the Democrats are putting out. It's that keeping the orange shit gibbon out of the office is essential, because if he gets back in, it's all over.
Yeah. We've got a last super chat in from Papa Dutch here. Earthlings work in mysterious ways. If that wasn't true, I don't even know how to say something that it is. So a huge shout out to our team here. We got Annette, who runs the teams. We got our man PJ CNET, who runs the research team. We got Shayna Caldwell, Chris Lundy, Liam Wakefield, and Super Chat Matt as well. So a huge thanks, because like we always say around here, our team is such a well-oiled machine that other YouTube channels look to us and actually come and get our team to teach their teams how to work properly. That's how it is around here. We have the best people in support of this channel. It's not funny. So a huge thanks to everybody. Rick, be the voice of Ukraine and take us out. What do you want to say as a Ukrainian to the viewers?
You know, first I want to self-promote a few more times before I go.
Damn right you do, buddy.
I'm just transparent. I'm calling the things as they are. I'm here to self-promote, guys. What the fuck, you know? Send the links over. Send it.
I love it. It's all about me. No, but it is because you're living it.
You know, guys,
right?
Not about me. Mostly I promote my fundraisers. I rarely promote my base.
No, hold on. That was absolute bullshit. It is all about you, because your shtick is all about the effort, the war. It's actually not about you at all. That's why it's about you. I know that's confusing, but it makes sense.
It is confusing.
It sounds paradoxical.
No, not in the least.
Like,
you know, guys, I wanted to tell you that we have an ongoing NATO, not the truck campaign this time, but NATO drones campaign. We are raising 30,000 euros for Chimera Group, who lost all of their equipment in Kursk operation. FPV drone of Russians hit the house where they stored all their equipment. They lost, I think, about a dozen of the different DJI drones, mattresses, Mavics, about 50 to 80 batteries, 2 Mavics and mattresses. They lost generators, power stations, launching stations for the drones. Like, guys, tens of thousands. They lost FPV drones, but Sternenko is supplying them with drones, so it's okay. We don't need to help them with FPV drones. But we're raising funds for 2 mattress 30T drones, for 2 Mavic 3T drones, for 1 Mavic 3E drones, for 30 mattress 30T batteries.
Those are the ones. Those are the expensive ones. The one that we're buying 5 of, and it's 30K.
Yeah.
In total. The Matrice drones are hella expensive.
It's crazy. It's a crazy price. So we're also supplying them with power station. That's an urgent request. And there are 2 fucking awesome patches on how do you call them? On the offer?
Yeah.
In the offer. Dick, if you can show it on the screen, it will be ideal. Do you need the link, or you can find it on Help 99?
Send me the link just to be safe, because my browser history with Help 99 has a whole whack that have been shown before, right? You know.
Oh yeah, I can understand.
Yeah. But I am
So,
set up to set it up instantly. I can do this right away here.
especially for this campaign, Andreas Lach, the member of my team, the creative manager, I call him. he is very good in ideas in graphic design. So he created this awesome patch, which says "Rolling Together to Victory."
Cool.
That's basically what we do, and I know that a lot of you fellow babies do that too. So
Well,
if you
we've got a spinning graphic just above where I'm talking. Let me see if I can align my finger to it right there. And that's the Shills patch, and then the Sam Nui honor patch there from the Portuguese battalion of the NATO 69 Sniffing Brigade.
I've seen the gold patch.
Yeah,
that
we
was
keep
cool.
that up there because that's something to be proud of. We were a part of that shit, right? You know.
You guys are awesome. I'm happy that you closed that one.
Yeah.
And so basically the second patch that you can get on this campaign is blood type Alpha 30 Bravo, which in Ukrainian is read like blood type Azov. It's a nice pun by Lettercat. She made the painting, and later we made a patch.
Leathercat's a hardcore supporter. Oh yeah. Yeah,
she is. So if you can show it on the screen, and we'll just make it perfect. Dick, what do you think?
Where? Send me the link over on messaging app there.
I already did. On
WhatsApp. You did?
Oh really? No, I sent it to the wrong one. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I got something. There we go. All right. Here we go.
Sorry for that. That was the wrong chat.
Yeah. Here.
If you scroll down, you can see the patch is bigger. Just scroll down.
Okay. There we go. Here. Why won't it let me do my little spready Zoom thing? Okay. That's weird. There we go. Okay. There we go.
So guys, we are all rolling. I know that Greg also says that. We're rolling. You know, like
rolling. Get that fundy rolling as off. How about
I
that
really
on the
like
spur of the moment?
I really like the Rolling Together to Victory patch. Like I've seen the blood type is off one, but I like the I love the concept behind it, but I also love the concept behind the Rolling to Victory patch. It's awesome. So Andreas, good job.
Yeah, Andreas, just perfect. On the background of that patch, guys, you can see the Donetsk Oblast flag. It's a sun, yellow and blue sun, that has a coal ground underneath. So that one is actually perfect for me. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody but remembers. I was just reminded in our green room that we were actually doing wrap-ups. We were supposed to be ending the show.
Yeah, that's me, man.
So we did thank the team. We did thank the viewers and the super chatters and the donators and the supporters and everything, because without you, our efforts would amount to squat. And 3/4 of Jack is not what we want to supply. But thanks to you, we actually can. So how about the biggest round of applause to everybody watching the show? pat yourselves on the back. Pat yourselves in the front, but do it when somebody's not watching, right? Yeah.
Dick, I had a word, the last word. I'll be quick.
Okay.
First of all, Starsky promised to come as a guest to my stream tomorrow. So, guys, if you want to be there tomorrow, join in. We're gonna have some fun with Starsky. Tomorrow, actually, I'm gonna beat a record and gonna do 3 streams instead of 2.
Holy
Wow.
cow.
Yeah, there's gonna be the Free Azov one. Then I want to do a Hostomel Animal Shelter Adopt Me Days. They have those Adopt Me Days where
Cool.
they give up the cats and dogs in a big location here.
And unlike Trump, they're not eating them.
Yes.
They're adopting them.
Exactly. Exactly. And, and after that, a stream with Starsky.
Kick ass.
So
Dick, Slavie sent me a DM on Twitter and said my laptop is weak like NATO. It died early.
Okay, let's get Slavie's link in the live chat again. You got to go over and sub to her YouTube channel. Catch her on social media. She's a badass girl, man. You're going to love it. You got to get on that. Let's get the hell out of here. So a big thanks to everybody who has super chatted and shouted out and whatnot. We've got Papa Dutch in for a late one. And now for a shameless promotion. What the fuck? Why not? I like it.
Wait. A motivation speech. Just a few dozens of minutes more, Dick. Come on.
I don't want to go to bed, Mommy.
Guys, this actually is the time to go on the streets.
Yeah.
I always call lately.
Get naked with a big sign that says support Ukraine. Because when you expose your genitals, people listen.
Well, you can actually. Okay. Guys, you can do it.
You
both.
first, Dick. You first.
Yeah.
I
You
do
can
it every day. You're just not there to see it.
Okay, guys.
I think for me it would have to be. I think for me it would have to be a case of, I'm naked now, but if you give us a donation, I'll put my clothes back on.
Yo, that's how Nick Suter lives, actually. If you give me money, I'll put my clothes back on. So.
Okay, guys, that's gonna be the motivational speech. Fuck that. I was happy to be here and self promote the shit out of myself.
So we got one more super chat in from Papa Dutch here. Thank the fuck of you. I just thought it had to be delivered that way. So go and tell your friends that you spent 2.5 hours of pure debauchery hanging out with some cool folk on a great show supporting Ukraine. Get on social media, share the show out. That's how it's done. Once again, a big thanks to the team, Annette, PJ, CNET, Shayna Caldwell, Chris Lundy, Liam Wakefield, and Super Chat Matt. Big thanks to Rick the Ukrainian, the diehard streaminator that happened to pop in. We love it when you pop in, buddy.
Oh, I love it too. I mean, you guys, you are awesome. And it's a very cheerful space. I love it.
We try to keep it that way. So thanks, And a big thanks to Jana, Slavie, Commander McMillian. Commander McMillian's got the camera off because he's probably heat rubbing the bionics right now. Slavie's laptop just literally exploded into a battery frenzy. And that's what we're going to do right now as we say the 2 most important words you ever heard in your life. Slavie Ukraine. Well said. Go do something else, people, and make sure it's got a percentage. Talk to you soon. All right, we're all clear.
It's over. Go home. Go.